Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of 13 Cards Subject to Change. As normal, it's me and Leroy inside of his kitchen. Leroy, what's new in the kitchen?
What's new in the kitchen? Let's see. Cookies again.
And that's not new. Why? I asked new.
Okay, sorry. Well,
you have a Cornish guinea hen that is actually defrosting with stuffing, and you don't mention that? Good Lord, man!
That's for eating later, but
that's
then we got
fine,
this.
But that's what's new. Anyway.
That's really good.
Also, we got somebody sitting here,
Ladies
too.
and gentlemen,
That's
on the
new,
show
too.
today, I've been trying this for probably about 15 shows now. Ladies and gentlemen, my buddy Eric is on the show. Eric, how's it going?
It's not been that much. But I'm
It
good,
almost
man.
feels
All
like
right,
it.
It almost feels like it.
Yeah, almost. It's close. Thank you so much. Well,
Well,
like I
he
said,
did pimp us out the last couple
did,
days
he
here because
did.
he's going to show up here, so yes.
I what?
You pimped us a little bit on there.
A little bit.
outside.
Little
Yes,
bit,
I
yeah, a little
loved
bit
it.
of social media work there. Might not be allowed to do that for much longer, but that's a whole nother story. We'll get to in a little bit here. Eric is a buddy of mine who I actually met through some local shows here in town. And Eric has an extensive history in the indie scene. Eric, a little background on that, just a little bit for us?
Sure, yeah. I was living in Eau Claire, Wisconsin in 2013 when I was first hired by Dave and John at Heavy on Wrestling.
Okay. That's, for those of you who don't know, Heavy on Wrestling is the local is one of the local promotions here in Duluth, Minnesota. Featured a lot of big name talents over the years, both local and national.
Been in quite a few of those shows.
Yeah, just a few.
Yeah.
Heavy on Wrestling puts on a great show. They're obviously, I would consider them one of the top two promotions next to First Wrestling in Minnesota. They're, the opportunities that I got there to produce in 2013 up until their, I think it was Legendary.
Yeah.
Their show in Red Cliff.
That sounds about right, yeah.
And so after that, there was a bit of a break, and then I started producing for them again in 2017.
Okay.
And my list of duties there. I don't want to over exaggerate anything, but like I was doing a lot.
It's the wrestling business. You pick up what you can. I know for a fact, Leroy and I. Having worked for MAW and also heavy on wrestling as the ring crew, you kind of go from Leroy and I think have gone from setup. We've helped usher guys in. We've helped with locker room issues. I mean, it's wrestling, and when you have a small promotion, you kind of just. If you're there to work that night and you're wearing a shirt that happens to match the company you're working for, you could be asked to do just about anything, ladies and gentlemen.
And then after the show, they come, hey, you guys put on a great show. You're welcome.
Yeah, right?
We just started working for him tonight. I didn't tell him that, but hey.
A little funny story. So we actually, our first experience of setting the ring up was actually at MAW in Turtle Lake, Wisconsin.
Sure.
And it was a lot of fun, really great show. We actually showed up early just to chill and hang out, and we obviously know Dave, who runs it, and he finally, we saw him in the parking lot, and we were like, is there anything that you need, like, before the show we can help out with? He goes, you guys want to go set up? And, of course, us being wide-eyed fanboys, we were like that is not a question, sir. We will see you in 5 minutes. And
we're good old Minnesota boys.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, hey, do you need some help? Yeah, we're right there, man.
Yeah, so
Minnesota nice.
Exactly. So
that's always a foot in the door.
Yep. So basically, it's turned into we know Jason, who kind of is the ring guy here in Minnesota, and
Jason Yerke.
Yeah.
I love the Yerkes.
Yeah, and Jason, we met him through the MAW show, and then Jason. Okay, so the second Turtle Lake show that we were a part of, Leroy was not there due to family stuff.
But also the bar show at the bar down in the Twin Cities.
Oh yeah.
When we set up when we at the
that was a cool show.
When we set up the ring, and then we had a half an hour to take down the ring. So
the story goes like this:
25 minutes.
Okay, so it was Funny Bone versus Super Beast in a tables match.
Right.
We botched the table. We as the ring crew botched the table.
When was this show again?
A couple of years ago.
Was it the first time they did
last
Poorhouse?
year.
No. This is their most recent show at the Poorhouse.
Okay.
This was last year
before the pandemic hit.
Gotcha.
But
you
anyway.
and Jason botched that table.
Hey, there were two tables. We put the wrong one on the wrong side of the ring.
I was watching Funny Bone's merch.
Yeah,
you guys messed up the table.
Yeah, whatever.
Have you guys ever seen the first show that they did there?
I've heard about it. I haven't had a chance to see it.
So Nick Karen obviously is an old colleague of mine.
Yeah.
And he was the producer for MAW for a long time.
Okay, yeah.
And I know I'm not supposed to swear within the first 5 minutes of the first hour of the podcast.
First 60 seconds, you're fine.
Yeah, we're in 4 minutes.
You're
so
fine.
Yeah,
you're fine. Yeah, by all means, go.
We can wait on the F-bomb maybe, but you only get one.
I only get one.
Only one F-bomb. Yes.
So Nick's a fucking genius.
Okay. Fair enough.
And just the way that everything looked in that building was unbelievable.
Dave actually was approached by a friend of his to buy into MAW because Dave has
I remember hearing about that.
Yeah. Dave actually is a very successful businessman in southern Minnesota, and actually his wife is incredibly successful.
She is.
Woman.
Yes.
Whether or not, ladies and gentlemen, you listen to the show, whether or not you like the Huffington Post for their political stances, when you get written about by them, that's kind of important, especially for a cosmetics brand. That's a pretty important.
I can offer the converse of that because I've been in some wider publications for like saving a dead butterfly.
That's entirely fair.
Yeah,
that's entirely fair.
I can offer the meaningless
converse
of it.
We totally impressed him because he asked us, "Have you ever guys done this before?" No, this is our first time.
Set up and tear down.
We set up and tear down, and we did it. What did we do?
We
tore down and
hold on. So the poorhouse story goes: we botched the table. Super Beast, under his breath, goes, "Oh damn, we got to do this again," because the table didn't break. So that was supposed to be the end of the show.
Yes.
No, sorry, not the end of the show. The end of that match. The main event was actually Kylie Ray versus everyone's favorite unicorn girl, who obviously can't. Your daughter can't.
Laney Luck.
Laney Luck. Yes.
Laney Luck. Anyway, so we botched the table. They get a new one. They have a different spot. So Laney Luck.
Is Laney in Impact now?
I don't know.
Did she get signed by Impact?
No, I don't believe so.
I haven't heard that yet. No,
I do know.
I do know.
Oh no, Kaylee Ray.
Kylie Ray. Yeah. Kylie,
she was.
Kylie
she
Ray.
was in there.
Anyway, funniest story about that was so they're the main event, Kylie Ray and Laney Luck. And some drunk dude behind me, because this is when the bar finally opened and people were coming in the streets. Some drunk guy was standing behind me during security. Was like, "I could take these girls." I'm like, "They will fold you in a pretzel. Stay in your lane." Anyway, so show's over at 9 because this is a nightclub in downtown Minneapolis on a Thursday night. They have a DJ.
Friday night.
No,
it was Friday we were down there.
This was a Thursday. I remember this specifically. This was a Thursday because the next day I had time off.
We have the interwebs.
We do. But anyway, so
I thought it was whatever.
But either way, anyway,
we took the weekend out anyways.
So I get approached all of a sudden by Dave that says, "So here's the deal. Their DJ is setting up at 9:30. If we're not out of here by then, we're done. So we have to not only tear down."
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
They had a show right after that.
Yeah. We had to tear down the ring, and we had to be in the truck and the truck out by 9:30. Took us 17 minutes.
Damn. Just the two of you, or
no? There was more than
there were more of us. But it took, and by the way, if it wasn't for the drunk people that were blocking our guys in the street because we had to go all the way outside and around, we would have had that done in an extra 10 minutes.
Dude,
we work hard.
He was very impressed with us.
He was incredibly impressed.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I should admit this, but I've honestly never set up or torn down a ring.
Here's the deal.
Oh my God.
Here's the deal.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fucking work.
As I've told my wrestling buddies, it is not the concern of the reason why the reason why I take being a ring crew so importantly is it is not your job to worry about those things. That is my job. You guys worry about the actual performance. That is why ring crew to me is very sacred because yes, it's always nice to see wrestlers that are quote unquote paying dues by helping the ring crew. Yeah. But at the end of the day, you're the performer. I don't take any insult that you're either dealing with fans or you're talking to the other competitors in between stuff while I do my job. That is my job. That is what I hold to me.
I think there's a certain point that you get to after setting up and tearing down and doing all the the scraping the bottom of the barrel work, I guess, without but like my foot in the door for wrestling came from like my social media management skills.
Well, but here's the thing. We said on the show before, and I think it was during our ethnic tribute show for both women and black wrestlers. I think it was that tribute show. I said, life, especially in the wrestling business, is about someone gives you an opportunity, just take it, make it your own, and then you know what? If someone offers another one, you take the same one, you move on. But anyway, going back to the ring. So the second show in Turtle Lake, I was out with Willie and his son Donovan. So it was just me and Willie, and then obviously the normal ring crew. Okay, so in that weekend, I set up and took down the same ring 4 times in less than 48 hours. Because the very next day was the Heavy on Wrestling show. It was the Halloween 3.
Yes, I think.
It was the Halloween 3 show. Which
was that up there? We're in the balcony, or was that?
That was the new one at the Malt Building. That was the first. Yeah.
That would have been Heavy Halloween 2.
No, it wasn't the Halloween show. It was the next one we went to. No Love Lost.
No 3. Love Lost 3.
That's one. That's
but anyway, so I literally got home at like 1 a.m, went to bed, got up 6 hours later, drove to the other side of town. I live on the east side of town, ladies and gentlemen. Clyde Iron is all the way on the west side of town. I drove all the way to the west side of town, set the thing back up because actually Sid Bowen, he had a seminar that day, so we set it up like hours before the show started. And then I helped take it down when it was over because everybody was trying to get the after party. So yeah, in less than 48 hours, I put up.
It's amazing how fast people clear out when the after party.
Oh god, when the after party is ready to go, you get ready to go.
And you know the fun part is, you know how many days Zach whined because he was hurting about doing this? I told him to shut up after
You're
a
fat.
couple
The
days.
joints don't know they got pain for their 3 extra hours.
Mine know they have pain. That's why I'm careful. But...
Shut up, Cobblepot.
Anyway,
so, ladies and gentlemen, today on the show we do have 13 full cards. I think we should go. I think we should go right ahead and jump right into this. Eric, you have a new venture coming up here, actually.
I do. Yeah.
It was sadly due to the pandemic. It was your first official show was actually canceled, but
sucks.
I think we've mentioned you as on the show.
Yes,
DPW,
we have.
Discover Pro Wrestling is now going to be coming to a wrestling venue near you in the Northland here. Any little insight to what's coming on there? I know you've been very excited, and you're even more excited since the cancellation. It didn't quell your enthusiasm.
No. So the first show is tomorrow.
Right, exactly.
We wish.
God, I wish that was a thing.
Yeah.
I'm so desperate.
Yeah, excuse me. No, the first show is... So I guess, stepping back, before I even started working for Heavy on Wrestling again in 2017, I had the concept for DPW, but it was called something else. It was actually called World War Wrestling.
Okay.
And there's a promotion that's called that in the UK, and so I was like, well, we can't do that.
Use
Plus,
that, no.
Yeah, no.
Plus the people who were originally involved in the the very early inception.
To be fair, the UK wrestling scene's taken a bit of a hit recently. You might be able to get that name.
I might be able to. I might be able to.
Well, I digress. Anyway,
it'd be a great name for like a pay-per-view, I think.
Oh, damn straight.
Oh, definitely.
World War Wrestling. I love that. And then you could, World War Wrestling 1 and 2 and 3 and 4.
Yeah.
But
you know your first show's going to have to be called The War to End All Wars, though, right? I mean,
The War to End All Wars?
It's locked in.
For if it was called World War Wrestling?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's already locked in due to, like, American history. You have no choice.
So, I mean, we were... I guess I'm, like, obsessed with the word war for some reason, because the first show is for DPW is going to be called The Warmth of Warfare.
Yeah.
Yes. And which is derived from my favorite After the Burial song,
For those of you who don't know, After the Burial is sort of a mathcore type metal band here in Minnesota. They are phenomenal. Seen them live a number of times. Good dudes.
Yeah. Oh, dude. I filmed a music video with them.
Which music video?
Dang it. What is it called? It's one of their newest ones. It came out in...
Oh, no. Oh, yeah, no.
Behold the Crown?
Yeah, okay, no, it sounds about right. Forgive me if I don't know specifically, because you have to understand, when it comes to my metal knowledge, I have 45,000 bands and about 800 songs a minute in my head. But anyway, so go ahead.
So I got the name for The Warmth of Warfare from their song Warm Thoughts of Warfare.
Great song.
Yeah, their earlier stuff is
nothing they've ever done is bad to me. They have just, those guys are so creative, they stick to themselves. I miss Reflections, who apparently are now back, but...
They are.
Yeah.
They just put out a new video, like a guitar playthrough.
Oh, when that happened, me and my buddy damn near shit our pants. I actually saw Reflections before they got big.
Yeah, like in 2011 when they just put out...
No, they didn't even have the album out yet.
Their very, 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 very
wasn't
first
even
one.
out. They were opening for August Burns Red at the Caboose.
Okay,
they were the opening band. Yeah, but anyway, go ahead.
So
Warmth of Warfare.
DPW in general. I mean, I had the idea for it a long time ago.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with me wanting to be a promoter.
Exactly.
I have all these different ideas that I want to produce. I'm much more of a producer than I'll ever be a promoter.
Well, but the problem is that I think we've all learned in the wrestling business, they give creative to people who sadly don't get it. And the people that do get it never get the opportunities.
Kenny Omega.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
Anyway,
we're not comparing. We're not comparing me or DPW to Kenny Omega, but I get the point.
Yeah.
It's just something that I've always wanted to do.
Sometimes you just have to start your own promotion. That's just how.
Sometimes, man.
But that's how some of the great territories got started. I mean, obviously the Jarrett family just were like, we get wrestling, let's just start a promotion,
and by all means, like, I completely understand the gatekeeping aspect of local indie wrestling, and I respect that. I've told numerous veterans in this area who are
skeptical.
No, I don't think skepticism is. I don't think anyone's skeptical about my ability to do this.
Okay.
That might sound shitty.
No. For those of you out there who obviously do not know Eric, I have seen a number of your shows. The very first show I ever went to was No Love Lost 2.
Sure.
Okay? And
that was a good show.
Yeah, it was a great show. But anyway, I told you after the show, and I wholeheartedly stick to this. That show was better produced and flowed better than a filmed show that I went to for Ring of Honor.
I really appreciate that. I really do.
Which is crazy because that was the show where the second match between the Briscoe brothers and the Motor City Machine Guns took place.
Damn.
So no.
That's a huge compliment.
Yeah. So
and
they tore the house down that night.
I really value that, and all of that credit honestly should go to Dave Sabick because
we're still mad about the curtains. So I mean, like,
I do those curtains. Damn it! Damn it! I am my own worst critic by far, and I think everybody is.
But at the same time, I mean, isn't that literally the line that like all the greats have always said? People, I mean, like seriously, all the greats. I'm my own
worst critic.
Yeah.
No, I'm not that. Well,
I'm not calling you great necessarily. But what I'm saying is that all the greats I've ever looked at or heard from, they always that line comes up at some point.
Yeah, I think everyone at some point or another, whether it's derived out of anxiety, which I live with, and I struggle with a lot, but
so is my girlfriend. So yeah,
for sure, dude. Everyone I think has anxiety to some degree.
And
or
what
another.
A business to have it in.
Yeah.
People probably think I'm crazy, but
too late.
Yeah, that's for damn sure.
I just know we drove crazy. We drove people crazy with my signs that night.
Yeah,
they were a little big. I loved that in
At No Love Lost 2?
Oh yes. Yeah.
So the funny thing about that, just a quick. Well, actually, to go back to my first point.
Yeah.
All the credit. Mm-hmm. So you say that was a really nicely produced show, and I agree. Yeah. I think we did an amazing job that night.
The thing about it is that it's.
But one second.
Yeah.
Not to.
No.
Just so that we can get through one point.
Yeah.
I think all the credit for that needs to go to Dave Sabick because, as difficult as it might have been to work with, and as many gray hairs as I probably gave Dave.
Yeah.
He gave me complete, full autonomy to do whatever I wanted as far as production and social media, and the managing of the website, all the social media platforms, the YouTube, and producing all the video content for that, the trailers that I produced, that Sting video.
Yeah.
That was all Dave's responsibility for letting me do that.
He was the sign-off guy, basically.
He really was the sign-off guy. I think to quell any of that skepticism that you were talking about, there were a lot of things that I wanted to do that couldn't get signed off on, I guess. But
again, I've always said, and this is where I get labeled on the show a lot as a Vince McMahon supporter, is I feel like one of my biggest issues is that when you look at a show like Spot Monkey, it's very schizophrenic at times.
We should be clear.
AEW. I apologize. I'll use their Christian names since it's your first time on.
All our loyal viewers know that we're talking about, yes.
But by all means, I will use their Christian name. But anyway, no. But see, my biggest problem, and I've said this on the show, is the schizophrenicness of the nature. But that's because there really isn't one guy, and this is where Vince gets a lot of flack.
Yeah.
You have to quell, and you have to shoot down all this creativity, because at the end of the day, you still have to produce a 2 to 3 hour show that goes off without a hitch, that flows well. And that's my problem with Spot Monkey is there's 5 people booking the show, and you can tell. Honestly, I've never been to a Heavy on Wrestling. I've never been to any show, even locally, that feels like it didn't flow. I felt like it made sense, and that's my problem with Spot Monkey a lot of the times is they turn around and they just feel like, oh, we're going to go to the next segment. It doesn't matter if it follows the next one. Nothing needs to follow anything.
Sure. So to that point, not to, I guess to my defense to that point, I didn't want to do anything that was like Vince Russo, Triple H banging a corpse or something like that. But like, that
was an actual idea, I'm pretty sure, by Vince Russo. You know he runs an actual promotion now, right?
Vince Russo runs a promotion.
Devotion Pro Wrestling out of Utah. Their very first match was a Samoan death match between 2 women who hit each other with inflatable alligators. That's a real thing, folks. Look it up.
Jesus.
Try to segue from that one.
So I just
can't.
As far as DPW goes and my my wanting to start that, it was, you know, I alluded earlier to like there's this gatekeeping aspect of indie wrestling.
Yeah.
And I've told a lot of, you know, very prominent veterans in this area that, you know, I understand that it's not my pool, but at the same time, I have no intention, and I don't believe anyone thinks that I will piss in that pool.
Right.
My only intention is to, I mean, damn, I guess I don't know if make the pool bigger is the right.
I think the best thing to go off is that, folks, the name of the promotion is literally your mission.
It's our slogan, just to discover pro wrestling.
Right.
And I mean,
I think we said on the show, but you originally booked War Beast of all people.
We did.
I mean the full tag team, Joseph Samuel and.
We did, yeah. Yeah. I actually did some work for
Jacob Fatu, by the way.
Jacob Fatu.
I'll finish my thought.
Samoan Werewolf.
Yep.
I actually did some work for Joseph Kabibo is his real name. The Almighty Sheik was his NWA moniker.
Right. Yeah.
Now goes by Joseph. Is it
Samuel?
Samuel? Is it
Samuel?
Samael? Is it
somewhere in that range? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how to pronounce it, but
when you don't hear it from someone, it gets lost in translation.
Sure.
Writing something down never gets.
I really love their work. I know Joseph has had some differences with, you know, some NWA legends and stuff like that. But the work that he's doing right now with PCW and with MLW is really fantastic. And
when I look at his work, I can see where it would rub a lot of former NWA guys the wrong way.
Well,
but at the same time, I'm not criticizing his work because I think because again, I've always said this business will weed out the people that get it and the people that don't.
Sure.
The people that you have. Matt Stryker said long ago before he started working for Lucha Underground, Randy Orton, snapped the finger, put the microphone in his hand, the guy got it. Other people, not to mention any names, they had to go over the bullet points 60 times. They had to practice it before the camera got turned.
Well,
that situation.
With Joe, the whole, I mean, honestly, I shouldn't even, I shouldn't be shitting on anyone that's not here to defend themselves, but
they're always welcome on the show. So.
Well, I mean, Joe's not. I did some work for Joe back in like 2013 when I was working for Heavy on Wrestling originally. Joe owned a website, maybe still does, called bumpdrunk.com.
Okay.
And it was like an apparel website, and I just helped him with some advertising and marketing and such. We've kept in touch over the years, and we have a mutual friend, Carrie Silkin. Carrie is one of my very, very best friends in the world, not just in wrestling, but so Carrie told me, you know, that, you know, it wouldn't be a bad idea to book him, and Jacob Fatu, I saw Jacob one of the first times that I saw him on like an indie show.
Yeah.
I wasn't there, but he did this pop-up Samoan drop. Pop-up Samoan drop to Drew's, I was going to call him by his shoot name. Shit. What is the System?
Oh, yeah.
System. Yeah. You call him the System. Yeah, we know.
Yeah. I was about to call him by his shoot name. I guess, is he retired or is that a shoot? I don't know.
I think it is, because I just saw a promo where he opened the violin case and he's coming back and there's a date on it. I shared it in the lounge.
I love that. That's
so 9:30, and I saw that and I was like, he got his hair cut. I want to see him back because I love him.
My buddy
I just said the F word again. Sorry.
It's fine. My buddy Willie.
You might want to timestamp that.
My buddy Willie, who's actually getting back into wrestling now, like more so due to the show. Willie's kind of our marketing guy around here.
Cool.
Willie saw him once. He saw the System at Fortune Mania 2, which, by the way, Willie only went because my buddy Jason got days mixed up, and he thought he couldn't go, but then he could go, so my buddy Willie got to go for free. But anyway, he saw the System.
I love when life works out like
that. Yeah, it's great. Yeah. He saw the System, and Willie is a big, burly black man from Texas.
Yes.
He saw a skinny white boy with that blonde hair. That's one of his favorite.
Loved him.
That's one of his favorite guys. Anything I share by the system, I tag Willie in because he loves the System.
I love the System. I mean, shit. Obviously his shoot name is Drew.
Yeah.
I love Drew, and he's an Iron Range kid.
Yep.
I knew of him before he got into wrestling.
Yeah.
And to see the progress that he made, like, you know, physically. I mean, I don't think he would deny that he was kind of a chubby kid.
Yeah.
And then he got just into phenomenal
shape.
And
I've said this before on the show. Lainey Luck, we talked about earlier, she has impressed. I'm never going to say Lainey was an overweight type of girl, but she sort of had
No.
But she had a sort of Jordan Grace-like physique the first couple times I saw her. But she has not only put in work on the actual wrestling side of things, she has come across as absolutely, she has found a way to make herself physically able to do more in the ring. That's kind of what I'm getting at. Physically, she can do a little more in the ring.
I think Jordan Grace is super, super sexy.
No,
I'm not gonna lie.
She's super. Oh, don't worry. So I
think I don't want that to come off.
We're not allowed to play fat bottom girls on the show, Leroy. I told you that 7 times.
But Lainey Luck too. I meant just.
No, I really like her. I don't want that comment to come off like a creepy JR comment, but like.
We'll get to that later.
Yep.
Anyway,
but
beautiful
no,
women.
I love.
Well, there's nothing wrong in saying that Jordan Grace is a body type. There is a certain body type that she fits.
Sure.
I'm not saying.
I suppose
she's in better shape than 99% of people I know, and I know some gym rats.
Yeah.
But my point is that she has a body type, and she's made it work for herself. And in my opinion, like you said, people make physical leaps. I can say the same. For you, it's the system, because you've watched him more than I have over the years. For me, it's every show I watched Lainey Luck. She not only got better in the ring, she physically looked like she was able to do the things in the ring, because it's one of those situations where getting better in shape isn't always about looking the part. It's about being able to pull off things. Garrison Creed's the prime example to me.
Stamina.
Yeah. Garrison Creed should not be able to do what he does at 240-some pounds. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he is a beast.
He's so smooth. He looks like Eddie Guerrero, but he moves like Eddie. It's ridiculous.
As far as women's wrestling goes, over the last, and as far as women's wrestling and the women in wrestling, I think over the last 5 years, since has it been 5 years already since the Revolution?
About that, yeah.
Yeah, it's been 5 years. It's been 5 years.
I would legit love if Shimmer or WoW, an all women's promotion, could land national TV distribution. And maybe I'm stupid as hell, and they already have it, but I'm not.
Well, here's the thing. Impact has national TV, but people forget not everyone gets access anymore.
Right.
TV has changed in a way that you don't get one cable provider and here's 10,000 channels.
Right.
You get 2 cable providers, and they each have a package that fits what you want. Because honestly, El Rey Network that had Lucha Underground for a while, I didn't get them with Charter Communications, even though I had 700 some channels. I got them with DirecTV.
Wasn't Lucha Underground cool?
Before they got to about season 4, and then they had payment troubles. Yeah, it was fantastic.
There's you. I have a Samsung TV, and I got smart channels on there.
Yeah.
I have I think all 3, maybe 4 seasons for free that I can watch.
Is it still on Netflix? Because they had a Netflix deal.
No, it's not on
Netflix.
No.
Okay. Because after season 2, they actually had a Netflix deal.
What a great, innovative way.
And they said no to Vince Russo.
Thank God they did.
Yeah,
they said no to him. I even said on the show, when a quote-unquote third-rate promotion just solely based in business terms says no to you, that's when you should just be gone.
Right.
But no, it's just okay. Let me just say this: every time you've sent me anything on DPW, anytime you have talked to me about it, you have
going back to the original point.
Well,
the original topic.
We do this all the
time.
Good Lord.
Wow.
I think
we went around the world.
We had a show where we got through 3 topics and we didn't give a damn.
Man,
anyway,
we should try to. I should try to.
You're fine.
To be more.
No, it's all good.
Point to point.
No. Okay, so anyway, again, this is a show that we wanted to come off as people talking in a bar.
Sure.
And the way that works is
yeah.
Okay. So honestly, here. Okay. So prime example is LeBron versus Michael. We're not going to sit here and have that debate, but that debate ends up having 60 different points, and it ends up involving 80 different players.
Yep.
So the fact is that that's kind of how our show works, and but okay. So anyway, back to my point with DPW. Mm-hmm. Every time you've come up with something, you've not only had a passion about it, you have come across as somebody that legitimately, even though you have a story to tell, you want the wrestlers to be shown.
Right.
It's about them. Like you said, you have no plans to become Court Bauer in MLW. No. You have no plans to become a Jim Cornette style character. Your job is to basically get the tickets sold and then just let the camera run.
Does Court appear on MLW?
I don't think he's ever appeared, but But I mean, Court Bauer has become more of a face
of the company.
Face and voice, but the voice is not on camera. The voice is off camera.
Right.
Court Bauer has spoken more since I think since the time I always use in my head is since Jim Cornette left NWA for a joke that to this day I don't have any issue with, and no one did at the time.
Oh right,
Anyway, Court Bauer has become more of he's actually answering questions. He's not a silent owner anymore.
I see him on Twitter, really killing it.
Yeah,
he gets a lot of reactions.
Exactly. But
I mean, good for that dude.
Oh, fantastic.
Going to one of your original points, every company needs to have like a figurehead where all the ideas are kind of filtered through.
Yeah, exactly. And again, this is the Vince Russo syndrome. You have 100 ideas, 2 of them are halfway decent, and then Vince McMahon is the man with the Titan Towers promotional truck that can actually make it happen.
No, DPW, dude, even Heavy on Wrestling when I was there, it has nothing to do with me personally.
Yeah.
If you watch the trailers that I did for like Fortune Mania 2 and all the other ones, that my primary focus was to present the local talent in a much more cinematic and kind of atmospheric sort of a way.
Yeah.
Like Sebastian Taylor, obviously, I'm wearing his shirt.
Yeah.
I'd like
the kid.
There's
guy.
So
I've always said Sebastian Taylor is a guy that, in my opinion, and again, this is not a shot at Sebastian personally, but he is a guy that I think has everything. He's missing something to really break through to the next tier.
I think he has everything.
No. Physically talking, he is everything. But in my opinion, for the fans to take him seriously as a top tier guy, he's an upper mid card.
Okay, so let me parlay off of that real quick. A lot of these guys, JDX, Jossie, even Airwolf.
Yeah.
A lot of them don't get the opportunities to create really, really cool shit. That's the blunt truth of it.
Oh no! Oh yeah, no.
And so,
100% believe
that's one. I mean, I'm not saying that they never have, but
oh yeah.
I mean, or even that I am creating cool shit or helping them create cool shit. But it's like the crux, like the point of DPW for me is to. I described it to Nick at one point. I was like, I want DPW to be like a wrestler's sandbox where they can, everyone can come in and just build whatever they want out of it. And I plan to be really, really hands off, aside from booking travel and booking the.
Do you have someone that you think can be a filter for ideas, or is that something that you'll be able to do very sort of offhandish?
I do have some. I have 2 different people actually that I think could help me filter ideas. But my goal, or I guess my hope, is that the talent who want to work for DPW see it as an opportunity to kind of flex their acting skills, flex their. I want to put wrestlers in different situations and circumstances.
Yeah.
Cinematically, like.
We're not talking that you're a cinematic promotion like Lucha Underground.
No, not necessarily. Although I'm gonna say, like, I wouldn't at all mind if that's.
Well, that's a very Mexico-style show.
Yeah,
well, of course.
Mexico's very telenovela focused, and that's what they kind of brought to us.
Sure.
And that's why I think it didn't hit so much with a casual audience, because
I think that in general the concept of cinematic wrestling has not even come close to scratching the surface.
Okay.
And like I said, I'm not saying that I have the know-how to do it.
Right.
But or even the resources.
We gotta crawl before you can walk. We all
sure,
know that.
sure.
I mean,
but
ECW was not exactly the cult following it was 2 months after Heyman took over.
I guess my reason for wanting to do DPW is to really just make cool shit.
Okay.
I mean,
we're wrestling fans. We want cool shit. That's what we
want. Like, I want to see wrestlers and storylines that make, like, I can't remember who I told, but I was like, I want to produce a show at one point where the storyline is so crazy and so emotional that the audience cries. Like, I want when the twist happens, or when the big swerve. Like I want the audience to be so sucked in and emotionally tied to that they cry, like legit. Like I know that's not every time. No. It's just like an example of like the extremes that I want to take the presentation of it to.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, we're still gonna be a live wrestling show where we're gonna have video walls and really great lighting and sound and commentary and.
Well, and honestly, we've talked about this on the show, and actually that'll be coming up here with probably our next topic. This is a time frame where I think not only will the strong survive, but we've gone through something in world history that, whether or not it's gimmicky, whether or not it's stupid, crazy, whatever, innovation is something that has to happen now.
Right.
It's something that, for better or for worse, has to happen.
Evolution is everything, and so that's. Like you said, our name is our mission and our slogan.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna hammer that out.
I understand.
I've
been hammering shit on this show for 6 months. So
I'm not gonna get up on.
You're not gonna get close to what I've done.
I'm not gonna get up on like conference calls and be like, our name is our mission, and you know what I mean.
No.
But like, I think people will pick it up. You know, like where DPW. I want it to be. I just want it to be something that helps people discover pro wrestling and the different, Adam Pearce once described it to me as ice cream, or somebody else described it to me as pizza, and everyone has a different flavor,
Take on it.
different flavor, and so I would love to not only give my own flavor or our own flavor for on behalf of DPW, but I'd also love for it to be a catalyst to show people that all these other flavors are out there.
If I may say, to piggyback off this ice cream comment, it sounds a lot like what you're trying to do is become the vanilla of ice cream. Hear me out before you judge the statement. Vanilla is considered the most basic flavor. However, vanilla is also a famous flavor that also forces you to piggyback onto other flavors.
Sure.
Well, so what I'm getting from this,
gummy worms.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
If I can, I disagree with the analogy.
Okay, no, that's fair.
I think to keep it on ice cream, I think what I want to do is I want to have my store DPW that sells Rocky Road bubblegum, peppermint, peanut butter chip, spicy.
We'll just end on Superman ice cream.
Pistachio ice cream.
Superman, yes.
But then I want to. I mean, to put it bluntly, I want to promote other brands.
Fair.
And I want to promote my brand. I've already been working on ways where we can have Discover Pro Wrestling serve as a platform for other promotions. I have the infrastructure, the servers available. The coding is written. It's actually, it's not even difficult. It's with the platform that I'm using for web design.
Yeah.
Long story short, like if you guys started promotion X tomorrow or whatever the hell, and you guys wanted to do business with me, like I would promote your event.
Yeah.
And I would come out and I would film it. I would produce it for you, and then we would broadcast it off on dpw.com.
Right. And
I have that ability. Like we've tested it, and it works wonderfully.
You are trying to throw a monkey wrench into the most singular focused business in the history of sports.
Not necessarily, because you have WWN, who this model exists everywhere. Like I said, I'm not going to try to hammer home this is our slogan, this is our thing, this is what we're, but like, I think the brand name is really cool. Like the acronym DPW sounds good.
Can't be any worse than Devotion Pro Wrestling. They're trying to make Christianity wrestling.
They are another DPW.
There you
Devotion
go.
Pro. Oh
there
God.
You go.
Oh God.
There are a couple Christian-based wrestlers.
I better get on my copyright.
It's Russo. It'll be dead in about 6 years.
Fantastic.
Yes.
You'll be fine.
where were we going right there? I forgot.
Basically, to kind of sort of wrap everything up there, basically what I'm getting, and this is coming from me, a fan / somebody with a platform, is you just want the sport to survive, and you view the ability that you have to help those who may get bigger, but you don't care if they get bigger.
No.
You just want to get the sport out there. Is basically
Correct.
What it is.
Well, yeah, but I mean, don't get me wrong. I also very much am devoted to producing our own live
success is always singular, but it can but the thing about it is that it sounds like that you actually want to take it in a multiple sense as opposed to just a singular sense where DPW will not be the sole survivor. You actually want DPW to almost be the heart, and then obviously
let's put it this way: if DPW is going to exist as a brand first and foremost. That'll be the top of the pyramid, I guess, of the triangle.
Yeah.
On another end of the triangle, we'll have DPW live shows.
Yeah.
And then, I guess within that somewhere, we'll have various DPW branded projects like the Discuss Pro Wrestling
obviously.
thing.
Yeah. Obviously.
My cousin wants to shoot a movie. And we just talked for an hour last night about this. He wants to shoot a movie that has a brilliant storyline to it, and he wants to incorporate wrestlers into it,
right?
And then pull the wrestler out of the universe of the movie,
okay,
and use them on the live show. And there's no other promotion anywhere right now that I know of that's producing 45-minute to hour-long short films as a way to.
Right, yeah.
As a way to build storyline and introduce characters.
But like you said, and actually, I think now's a great time to transition to the next topic. But
sure.
But to sort of finish that, going back to what you said, you're trying to revolutionize because, in your opinion,
I'm not even trying to revolutionize anything.
Not revolutionize the business, but what I'm saying is that you're trying to evolve. You want to make sure that there's a constant ability to evolve from everything that you do. You want to get better and better. You want other people to be able to evolve.
I suppose from a third-party perspective, that would definitely make a lot of sense. Honestly, this might sound kind of shitty.
Leroy's on the show, so I mean, it can't sound any worse.
As the owner,
well, I don't have any gas right now.
That's right.
As the owner of the brand name Discover Pro Wrestling, I feel that there is a certain sort of civic duty or civic responsibility to use that in as broad of a sense as I possibly can. It would be even if it was just World War. I mean, I don't know. I was gonna say even if it was the original name of the project, if I would be so, broad about it.
Yeah.
But I really want DPW to have something for everybody, and it does. And like maybe what that something is our live show,
right?
But maybe that other something is Crushed Pro Wrestling. For example, I produced one of their shows back in October.
Yeah.
And in a perfect world, what I would see is DPW or Discover Pro Wrestling, and then on our website you'd be able to look at all these different brands. You could find Crushed Pro Wrestling, and you could find. I know he would never go for it, but MAW or Heavy on Wrestling, you could find it on our website.
Well, you never. I mean.
And I want to preface all that with or whatever with saying it's not a Vince McMahon taking over the territories approach.
No. I actually don't get that feel at all, Leroy.
No, I mean, when Zach first told me about this, I was stoked and I was excited. I was like, yeah. And then he goes, well, to be able to maybe do some stuff with you. I was like, holy crap. Now sitting here after not doing anything, it's like, and then you telling me more about it. I'm just like, oh my god. Well, I'm getting giddy like a little schoolgirl.
Well, but that's my thing. I don't think anybody takes it as a Vince McMahon situation because in my opinion, you're trying to create a root system for everyone.
Sure.
But Vince, in the same sense as you, but obviously the complete opposite 180, is Vince was understanding that I can do better if I take all the best and put them in one spot. So it is a Vince McMahon idea. It's just the complete 180 of what he did.
Sure.
It's the essence of what he was trying to do, but the end result will obviously be the complete opposite of what
from a legality standpoint. Vince purchased their assets and he purchased their rights.
Obviously, yeah.
And let's say, for example, Dave called me tomorrow and he was like, hey, I know, shit hasn't always been great between us, but I want to have a platform, and I want your platform to have a reason for people to come to it.
Yeah.
And so, there's... I first and foremost, I wouldn't be purchasing anyone's assets or rights.
Obviously.
I think there would be a gentleman's agreement to air their content on their behalf. But if there's a paywall,
worst case scenario, you tried and you both failed. That's
sure.
That's literally that's the worst case.
Absolutely.
Scenario.
And surprisingly enough, the DPW website gets a ton of traffic.
Yeah.
Last month, I think it got 1,000 visitors or 1,100 visitors.
And that is just is that discoverprowrestling.com?
DiscoverProWrestling.com. Yep.
Okay.
And we're also on Twitch, twitch.tv.discoverprowrestling.com or /discoverprowrestling.
Well, Twitch is about to have a lot more openness for wrestling fans, so by all means, folks, go ahead and look that up.
So now that we've discussed my...
No, it was fantastic.
And very enjoyable, man. I love it.
No, honestly,
cool.
Honestly, and
getting excited.
Yeah, no, and for those of you out there, Eric's been messaging me back and forth many times saying I've got nothing for you, and I'm like, dude, I don't want you to have anything for me because honestly,
when did I tell you that I don't have anything for you for DPW?
Basically, yeah.
Like a job?
No.
No, not job.
No, for our show. You had no content for the show, basically. You didn't know what you were going to say.
Oh, right. Yeah. I was going to say, you're...
Oh, I know.
Definitely.
I know.
Why did I say that?
But anyway, no. But see, the thing is, this is the point of what we're trying to do. Is anyone on this show? And by the way, by the way, I told you about that show down in Hopkins, Minnesota, Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
The Bucks were down there. I have a picture with the Bucks. I paid $30, stood in line for almost 20 minutes for the Bucks. Because damn, was that line long.
Dude, so that No Love Lost 2 show, that was when we did Airwolf and Corbin.
Yes.
Man, it almost wasn't that match. It was going to be some sort of like a 6-man tag. I've
heard some rumblings that that was different. But,
well, I'm glad. I mean, it was a great match.
That was fantastic. But anyway,
that really helped with my interview with him too.
Yeah.
Just the way that
went great. He hates you.
I'll go out on a limb right now.
Yeah.
And I'll say that the slow burn. I mean, we only did 3 shows a year, but I mean, the slow burn sort of story that we did with Airwolf.
Yeah.
He was the first person. He was the first wrestler to enter when we made our return at Clyde in 2017.
Yeah.
He was like our AJ Styles.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you remember back in 2007 or 6 when Spike picked up Impact, the very first episode...
Picked it up from Fox Sports North, actually.
Yep.
Right. And so the very first episode of Impact was AJ Styles, and I can't even remember his opponent, but I just remembered it like...
Might have been Jerry Lynn, honestly.
I have to check.
He and Jerry actually went back and forth.
No, I'm not even going to...
we can check that later.
Yeah,
it wasn't Jerry. I think it might have been Kaz.
That sounds about right.
It might have been Kaz.
It was a tag match, wasn't it?
No, it was just...
No, it was a singles match,
It was a singles. But I was like, man, these guys are really like coming out of the gate, showing us who their top guy is.
Yeah.
Like I always associated AJ Styles with TNA after that.
Obviously, yeah.
And I think most people, familiar with that time frame still do to this day, regardless of his success at WWE.
Without a doubt, AJ.
AJ
Styles is AJ Styles because of
TNA.
Impact.
Yeah.
Impact, TNA, all that stuff. But anyway, so my whole point of everything was we were talking about innovations. We were talking about what you are looking forward to in terms of cinematicness, all this other stuff.
Absolutely.
When I said that you didn't have anything, going back to what I was saying, you just did your own little innovation there on what you were going to say. And here's the deal. That's what we're trying to do is so back to my show in Hopkins. I've shit on the Bucks since the day one of this show. But I still paid the money for their show, and I was a huge fan of what they did at the time. If they ever want to get in touch with my ass and come on this show, I am not going to say no.
I am one phone call away that I could, my degree of separation from the Bucks is one person.
And here's the thing. I would love to sit down with them, and I would love to pick their brains on what they think. Because here's the deal. So like I've said off camera, I feel like, and we talked about it on the show, Jim Cornette shits on AEW, but he is shitting on AEW in a sense of he is explaining how wrestling is supposed to be based on what he was brought up in the business.
Right.
When you worked for the Jarrett family, from the mother to the father to the kids, the Jarrett family was wrestling.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, he's worked for the Herds, he's worked for the Jarretts, he's worked for the McMahons, he's worked for everyone you can think of conceivably in the wrestling business. So
plus he's owned his own promotion.
Yeah, exactly. Smoky Mountain Wrestling. Yeah, but that's my whole thing is that I don't necessarily hate that the Young Bucks have a platform. I just feel that they can do a better job in my version of wrestling. That style of wrestling will always have an audience. I'm never going to say AEW is going to die. I've never said I want them to die. I want them to do better, but in my opinion, I feel like that love or hate what WWE does, there is a platform and there is an idea behind how they do their thing that allows them to continue. Because like I said before, Jim Cornette has said, and I quote, he never looked at the ratings during the Monday Night Wars. He never did.
Cornette said that?
Yes.
Yeah.
And yes. And
I would really question if that's true, to be honest.
All I'm saying is that well, okay, he never looked at the quarter-hour ratings. He obviously looked at the ratings when the show came out, the full show ratings, yada yada.
Sure.
But he said that
this guy has house total figures like written down, like he can.
No, 100%. But my point is that he always said, let's be the more consistent show. And that's my point here, is that I want AEW to understand that it doesn't matter if it's wrestling, it doesn't matter if it's baseball, it doesn't matter if it's a drama, comedy, any cartoon.
Right.
Schizophrenia doesn't work. Love or hate Rick and Morty, there is a schizophrenic nature that always comes back to one singular point. And the fans of Rick and Morty, like I said, the fans of AEW that will always be there, they get it. Their fans get it. The problem is that you are entering a world that it's not about your fans. It's about the television gurus. It's about the dudes in charge. Because remember, we talked about on the show, AEW has lost their only contact with Turner. AEW's
the one guy that loved him.
The one guy that
longer
Did you
working.
guys listen to Tony Khan's conference call?
I did, yeah.
I listened to some of it, yeah.
Yeah.
So you know that's not a concern to him.
No. And I understand that. But it was never a concern to Ted Turner or Eric Bischoff. It was never a concern to them. The problem is that the business world will always be filled with people where it doesn't matter if it makes them money, as long as they have enough money, and as long as they're powerful enough. If they don't like something, their personal view will overtake success. Love or hate WCW towards the end, they made money. But they got killed because the people who were in charge of them at Turner didn't like wrestling.
WCW wasn't making money at the very end.
Not at the very end. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it was a slow, painful death. But whilst they were still making money, even though they weren't the top wrestling promotion, they were still bringing in money to Turner. There were people who still didn't want it to happen. This is directly out of Controversy Creates Cash, Eric Bischoff's book. I'm not saying Eric is 100% true. I'm not saying Eric's 100% truthful. I can only go off what Eric has said to me.
Sure.
But my point is that what ultimately killed WCW is what killed ECW. It's not the wrestling. It's this fact that ECW wasn't going to get picked up by a major television network, and at the time that they were trying to get back on TV, ECW didn't have a platform like the 40,000 channels we mentioned earlier, because nowadays somebody would give ECW a shot. They would say, here's an hour of TV, make it work. That's all I'm saying. But when you talk about TNT, it's a completely different story, because they are one of the top, on the show, I think I listed all the networks that Ted Turner has in his umbrella.
Yeah, you did, yeah.
He owns networks you wouldn't even think Turner Broadcasting would be involved in.
Sure.
Through association with Cartoon Network, he owns Adult Swim. So
it's a similar situation with Sinclair.
No, that's exactly my point. But my whole thing is that I know Tony's not necessarily, interested in that. But then again,
so forgive me, but what's your overarching point here?
Do you have a point?
I was getting to a point.
Oh, okay.
I was just confused.
He just takes a while to
I was just confused because we started off with the Bucks, and I wasn't sure where you were going with
what I was going with was I was a fan of the Bucks, paid $30 to stand in line with them.
Sure.
They're welcome on the show at any point to discuss their version of wrestling. Okay, so here's my point. Their audience will always be there. My problem is I want to see the audience grow, And I think that regardless of what I know about wrestling versus what they know about wrestling, regardless of what Tony Khan knows about wrestling or I know about wrestling, that's irrelevant. What is relevant is the fact that nothing has ever mirrored history more than television. The same shit works in TV constantly. You just have to find a different skin for it. So all I'm saying is that my point is, when I bashed what I believe is in AEW, it gets bashed by Jim Cornette because of what he believes wrestling to be. I'm not saying the Bucks are wrong. They're not wrong because, like you said, wrestling has layers. Like, wrestling has different ideas. You could, like, again, people like the gymnastic car wreck that is AEW. I'm not denying that, and I don't hate that. What I'm saying is that when I review an AEW show, which we're going to do here in a little bit, they had All Out last night.
Oh, yeah.
I review it based on my opinion of wrestling. And my opinion of wrestling is more story-based, is more of a slow burn, whereas the Bucks are, and they should because they're smart, they made $1 million without a major TV company. Congratulations. I've never hated what they did. What I'm saying is that they are trying to give you instant gratification every night because they have the indie mentality of, as we've said on the show, when you're an indie wrestler, you give everything you have to one night so the bookers will bring you back. But they don't realize that now they have a weekly episodic television show where they can kind of wait 3 weeks before I get the payoff, as opposed to it's already happening. Instead of just announcing this match is...
Can you give me an example of that?
Scorpio Sky versus Cody Rhodes. I did not need that match to be announced at a pay-per-view that, hey, this is going to happen on Wednesday. Because guess what? Scorpio Sky and Cody Rhodes, I want it, but for the love of God, tease me.
Oh, yeah.
That did not need to happen out of no... If it's Cody versus anyone on that maybe is not as good as Scorpio Sky, doesn't have the following of Scorpio Sky, fine. One night open challenge, I don't care. But my point is that Scorpio Sky...
Give me another example of that.
Another example would be, honestly, I would say my example would be in a sort of different way, but in the same way, FTR and the Young Bucks. You don't come in...
That was a really long...
But
the way they brought him in,
but not on their show. What I'm saying is that my issue with the Bucks has been they give me everything that is the end, but they give it to me without a middle. There's a beginning, a middle, and an end, as you said earlier, to everything. Sure. But there's no middle to AEW. It's something happened. Now there's a match, and the next week both guys are in other corners of other matches.
Man, I'm not sure that I agree.
We'll get into that. No, and that's fine because Jesse, who's been on the show, he and I have disagreed about AEW as well.
Yeah.
I don't mind the disagreement, but before we get to that, so back to my point about innovation, we actually were talking about, and I wanted to bring you on about this, and we talked about this now, I think 3 weeks on the show. The WWE Thunderdome is continuing to be a thing. There's a little less Nazi KKK stuff going on. My biggest problem with that is I don't understand how you set something like that up and you don't have like a 10-second delay where someone's watching every feed.
I agree with that.
I'm disappointed that they didn't go all out with, no pun intended. I'm surprised they didn't go all out or all in with the green screen aspect that the NBA.
Yes.
They have. Yeah. They must have some. I haven't looked at it, but they must have some crazy regulations for their.
They've got Disney.
For the people that
they've got Disney.
No. I mean the people for the registration.
But they're going.
That counts with Disney because it's
but they're
on
working
Disney
through
Network.
Disney.
No. You're missing my point. They must. The NBA. Have you seen it?
Yes.
So they're sitting in these like virtual seats.
Yes.
So you must have some crazy rules and regulations where they have to have a green screen.
But that's what I'm saying is that WWE probably needs to do a better job of screening things, and that's where they failed, I think, the most. Because the idea is brilliant. The idea, based on the pandemic we've been in, coming out of it, it's a brilliant idea. I'm surprised it hasn't happened before.
Right.
My whole thing about, and like I said, on SmackDown and Raw, I got my old camera angle back. I love my camera angle. It's so much better.
It's like when you're trying to play, and I've done it a few times. I'm still trying to get into this dang thing. It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
But it's like you got to be 18, and they give you rules, and you can't have somebody younger. But when I'm on there, I can have if my kids are home with me, I can have them sit with me, and be on this camera, and they can watch this together, and stuff like that. But it's basic.
So I think what we're getting at is that the NBA obviously does a better job. There's no denying that. They haven't had any of those issues, and it does look better. But my point is going back to innovation. This is a prime example of you didn't have any way to test it, and you were like, just toss it on the line. There was no testing phase. There was no figure it out.
They did a test.
WWE?
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm not saying they didn't do any tests.
It was right. Yeah, it wasn't very long. It was one. It was the Thursday before SmackDown.
Yes.
The first time that they did it.
Yes.
And that's about it.
I remember following it on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, it was one of the funnier things that I've watched happen on Twitter, because there was just people, like, they played one song on like a 30-minute loop, and people were like, I legit just gave you 30 minutes of my life that I cannot get back. And they didn't view anything.
That's how I feel about half the Spot Monkey shows, but anyway.
Yeah. But I know, so yeah, because Darren had a problem. I said his next Snapchat was just out, his consultant.
Yeah.
He had a lot of, he had to get his thunderdome down. Phallus is flipping on all his screens, so he had to get rid of all of them. It was very disappointing.
That's Darren Corbin, friend of the show, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
But no, it's just my whole thing about the Thunderdome has been this. I am not saying that I have all the insider knowledge and I've followed everything they've done, but my whole thing going back to the NBA is I know there's strict regulations there, but the thing is that what it seems to me is the only problem the Thunderdome has is the fact that they are not sticking to whatever regulations they give you. As Leroy pointed out, he can have his kids on there even though they're clearly not 18. And I don't necessarily know why. Yes, I understand you're doing everything you can to bring back a live audience because we can't right now due to health regulations. But again, I just don't understand why. Okay, you had all this time, you innovated, and it's a cool. It is a brilliant, masterful idea. Because remember, the original owner of the Dallas Cowboys once said football would take place in an empty stadium that would be solely produced for television, and that's what this kind of gives off that sort of eerie vibe of. But my point is that I think the Thunderdome, for the most part, is one of those things that they got to do a better job of just understanding that, look, you are at fault for a lot. I mean, yes, we can give the argument that people are evil jerks and stupid.
Oh, God,
we can give that till we're blue in the face. But you are, but again, you are still
guilty.
There you go.
I'm just kidding.
We're all guilty at some point. But the thing is that you are still responsible for making sure. Because here's the deal: my dad's into computers. He's been a computer nerd his whole life. It would not be hard, because wait, okay, so every 15 minutes fans get rotated out. Is that how it works?
I have no idea.
That's what I've read, Leroy.
I have no idea. I'm still trying to figure out.
I've read you get 15 minutes in your slot.
Honestly, I think they're kind of just winging it a little bit. I mean, I'm sure that they have, like, Kevin Dunn, their producer, is probably doing his absolute best to provide uniformity.
Yes.
And a clear way to do it.
Yeah.
But my point on, or I guess my opinion on the Thunderdome is that it kind of sucks. It takes away from the viewing experience for me because, they have the LED aprons, and then they have the LED posts, and then they have however many miles or feet or whatever of LED boards now with people, and it's like, and everyone has a different background. Like you've got like a, someone's bedroom in the background, or they've got someone like a ceiling fan. My point with the Thunderdome is that I think they should have gone all in and done it the same way that NBA.
It's a wrestling show, we get it.
Yeah.
Because think about this: if in their requirements for WWE Thunderdome, if they had
put up your own green screens.
Yeah, if they had, then that weeds out so many trolls because they're attracting people that take this seriously.
Yes, because I know during the pandemic, it was actually super easy for the guys and girls of actually Smosh to get green screens to their own apartments so they could create content while they were in quarantine.
It's so easy.
It's not hard to get a green screen.
It's so easy.
My girlfriend, like I said, is a media studies. That was her college degree, and she understands how to do green screen.
But to that end, having a green screen puts you in a different category of consumer and creator. Yeah. Because it assumes a different level of maturity because you know what I mean.
Entirely.
And if you had to have even just that, or even the green screen maybe with a floodlight above your head, and if WWE went with that, I would
kind of like how reality shows, even though they show you what happens day to day, everyone's always interviewed in the same basic premise room. Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah, exactly.
Hell's Kitchen's a prime example.
Yep.
They filmed the whole day, and then for those of you that don't know how, for those of you listening that don't,
it's like Road Rules in real world.
Yeah, exactly. So
they have the confessional.
For those of you that don't understand how a reality show actually works, is you don't pull someone away in the middle of a fight to interview them. Yes, most reality TV is staged. I'm sorry, Kardashians. Nobody gets into that much trouble when you have that much money every year. But anyway,
the people on the point that I think you're making, to just condense it, is like we want some uniformity.
Yes.
To the look of it.
Yes.
It's so hard to watch. It's like a clown threw up on or not even once. It's like a bunch of clowns just repeatedly throwing up everywhere, and I'm like, what the hell?
But again, like you said, I don't think they thought the idea all the way through, and we'll actually get to that point a little bit later because that's sort of a little mini diatribe I have against not just WWE but Vince in particular. We'll get to that in a little bit here. But anyway, what we're getting at is it's a brilliant concept. Y'all just ain't executed it anywhere near
they got to work on it a little bit.
What you could have. So anyway, sort of transitioning there. Eric and I were going back and forth about this a lot, Leroy, and I don't think I let you know. Actually,
we were.
This is kind of how I got him on the show.
I know where this is going.
Was we were arguing, and I said, can we just stop commenting on Facebook and just have you on the show? And he was like, sure. I'm like, so anyway.
You're sabotaging me today.
A little bit.
Oh my God, this is horrible.
Ladies and gentlemen, Brock Lesnar is a free agent.
I put that in there.
I say free, basing this on, ladies and gentlemen, Brock Lesnar do not come with a very small price tag. The word free and Brock Lesnar are not in the same sentence when it comes to getting Brock on a TV show. So, by the way, despite Tony Khan's conference call, no Brock on All Out. We'll get to All Out in a little bit here, but you and I were discussing the possibility that he goes to AEW. Your thoughts on that before I give mine?
I love it because it would be really shocking. First and foremost.
Oh no! 100%.
Secondly, I think it would prove to a lot of people that AEW has just as much disposable cash as WWE.
So do you think that the fact that Dave Meltzer has reported that everyone except for Roman inquired about a job, you don't think that's enough? You think that Brock would be sort of that final tipping point to make people actually believe it? Do you think,
So, I don't give a lot of credence to that assertion that Roman was the only one who didn't reach out.
I'm sure. I agree. I guarantee a lot of people didn't, but at the same time, I guarantee a majority probably did. But again, it never hurts to feel out what could be a job opportunity for you. Well,
it's evident that the majority of them did reach out because they've ended up in AEW. Cardona, Brody Lee, Moxley.
Exactly. Yeah.
Jericho.
Yeah.
What's the split on the roster now from original AEW stars to
20 guys from former WWE to probably 60 AEW guys? They just don't feature the other 60. The roster's like 86 deep, or at least it was when they first hit TV.
Yeah, they do have a really large roster. It's pretty crazy.
And they're all getting paid to work one night a week.
And everybody that has the belt is
with the company though.
No. That I understand, but I mean, like when we're talking pure wrestling, they're really only working one night a week.
They're getting paid to wrestle one night a week, but they get paid to work in office to do other things for AEW. Which is super dope.
It's a very
brilliant concept.
It's a very grassroots style idea, and that's where I think Tony Khan gets it from his dad, because his dad's obviously a self-made billionaire. You can't take away from what his dad's done. That goes back to Jim Cornette made fun of it, but I actually don't mind it. Michael Nakazawa is actually the assistant to Kenny Omega, whereas Jim Cornette would make you laugh.
Is that a shoot?
Nope.
So that's a work? He's not really an assistant? What do you mean?
Michael Nakazawa. That's his actual name, though. It is Michael Nakazawa. It's been reported and I guess confirmed that he is actually Kenny's assistant. But here's the deal: people have to remember Kenny is an executive vice president. So, like you said, everyone's kind of there in the office, and they are paying people to do more than just the one night a week on television. So, like you said, whereas Jim Cornette makes fun of that because it helps out with his audience, who obviously shits on AEW a lot. At the end of the day, it is brilliant because Michael Nakazawa is still a very prominent talent in the Japanese pool, and to have him be a contact and have him work with Kenny, because obviously they're good friends, but also he and Kenny were in Japan for so long, they can work that sort of, roundabout
Where
way.
did Nakazawa work beforehand? Was that CWE or was that DDT? Or
I think it was DDT for a while. Yeah, he was down there because I know that he didn't get a lot of feature on New Japan, but Kenny was kind of.
And CWE is China.
No, I know. Yeah, no.
So that's I'm stupid.
Well, no, because I actually subscribe to Middle Kingdom Wrestling, which is one of the top wrestling promotions in China. China, despite the sort of culture of we're honest in the show of Chinese culture. You can go work there. It's like the Chinese Basketball Association. I mean they actually, However, I do think China wrestling does feature Westerners a little bit better than Japanese does because
interesting.
Because
I've honestly never watched a CWE show or any Chinese wrestling, to be honest with you.
Look up Middle Kingdom Wrestling.
I will. I was about to dive into the CWE files.
Yeah.
After like Shima and T-Hawk and like I'm familiar with their work. I've seen some of their.
Nakazawa, I'm pretty sure, had a couple of stints with a lot of the smaller promotions of Japanese wrestling. Because remember, people try to use this against Kenny, but Kenny did work a lot of the smaller promotions before New Japan really put. Was he ever a lion, Kenny Omega? Was he ever a young lion? I feel like
he had to have been. I think he. I mean, he probably paid some dues. I don't think he was ever.
Oh, Prince Deviche said, I used to scrub toilets to get any match I could on the card.
Yeah.
So.
I'm trying to think if I ever saw him just like sitting ringside.
Yeah.
I don't think he was ever like a dojo young lion.
No.
I think he was brought in as a gaijin.
Yes. Because remember, he was added to the Bullet Club because they needed a junior heavyweight presence.
Yeah.
And Kenny at that point was I'd say he was a top flight junior heavyweight, but he wasn't really the junior heavyweight at the time. Over there, I've always said, as much as I've ripped Kenny on the show for what he's done in AEW, I always feel like he got a bad shot in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and people always ask me, he was their top sort of guy for so long. I'm like, yeah,
I'm confused how you think that.
I still think Kenny deserved more of a run as the New Japan World Champion.
He would have if he wasn't leaving for AEW.
That's
the only reason he dropped the belt back to
100%. I know, and we've actually covered that on the show. But my whole thing about it is that. This is my problem with New Japan and how they treat their gaijins. Is back in the early days when gaijins would appear. Obviously, Stan Hansen was a legend in Japan. Vader, Hulk Hogan.
I have Stan Hansen's phone number. Actually, should we call him right now?
Oh my God!
We'll save that for another day.
Oh,
sounds good.
But anyway, no. My whole thing about it is that I feel like when you had the stars of yesteryear, New Japan was willing to make them top guys. Also, Brock Lesnar is an exception because Brock Lesnar, as we pointed out on the show, you don't get more unique than Brock Lesnar in the sense that he is a heavyweight who moves like a cruiserweight. Like, literally think Big Show, but moves like Rey Mysterio. That's what I've always said about Brock.
Bottom line, Brock is also one of the largest wrestling box office draws, combat sports box office draws.
Definitely.
Well, but that's my point.
Yeah.
But that's my point.
Brock Lesnar, and this is what I'm.
Brock Lesnar's name alone sells.
Well,
tickets.
I guess this is what I'm saying. Going back to my first point about it would provide, it would eliminate any level of doubt among, AEW fans or like general wrestling fans that doubt AEW's financial viability.
Because Chris Jericho's something. But Brock Lesnar's a whole nother stratosphere.
But even Jericho is making $3 million a year at AEW. I can't remember where I read that, but I think it was.
I can confirm that because
I think that's the low end.
Yes,
he's making,
yes.
Because he said,
I'm pretty sure Bleacher Report said that at least once.
Yeah, he said there was an interview where right after he signed, Jericho said that it was his most lucrative contract ever.
Yeah.
And I think WWE at the time before he went there was only paying him like $1.5 million a year or something.
Yeah.
And so
I don't have a problem with what Chris did making the jump. That for Chris's career, that's been great. And by the way, I am a huge Fozzy fan. I mean, like I enjoy Fozzy. That's a legit. Yeah. That's a legit band. Those guys can play.
They're super butt rock, but
yeah.
But they do it well. I'm not.
Their first album was called Fozzy Osbourne because they were told to make
what?
You've never heard the story?
That's not true.
No, 100%.
Ozzy Osbourne?
Chris Jericho confirmed on That Metal Show, because he's friends with Eddie Trunk and those guys. He confirmed on That Metal Show their first record was under the name Fozzy Osbourne, and they were told to put on wigs. And
you're right.
And be a parody.
You're right.
And actually, one of Chris's greatest lines ever. So like musicians with integrity, we took the money and we made the record. But anyway, but no, I don't mind it. I just feel like, in my opinion, and we'll get into that because he actually had to match it all out. I think it's some of Chris's lowest performances, and that's my opinion.
In AEW, right now,
I think it's some of his lower points of his career, in my opinion.
Really?
I'll get to that when we get to the review. So let's hold on to that.
He has a very interesting opinion.
AEW?
I'll explain when we get to the review. Okay.
Holy
shit!
But no. So okay. But no. Here's my thing.
Hold on. Before you go any further, does AEW do anything that you love?
Yes, and I'll get to that in the review because it was actually on this show, which is interesting because the majority of this show has been some of the worst reviews they've ever had.
So we're still talking about Brock, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But anyway, back to Brock. In my opinion, I still don't think Tony Khan not necessarily can't afford him, because obviously he has his daddy's money. He can afford Brock Lesnar. That's not difficult. But my issue is that what I tried to explain to you and what I was getting to is that Brock Lesnar, as pointed out by Kurt Angle, and I quote, doesn't like people. The dude bought a private plane so he could skip the airport. He moved to Canada.
Did you see Brock's podcast with Austin?
On the WWE Network?
Yeah. He talks straight from Brock's mouth. He tells Austin how much he doesn't like people.
Right. Okay, so that's confirming is that my biggest problem is, and honestly, this goes back to the issue that Brock Lesnar had with Matt Riddle, is I feel like Matt Riddle has the type of attitude that you'd find of a lot of guys down in AEW. I have nothing against that. I'm fine. I love Matt Riddle, and I think Matt Riddle's a great dude. And I think a lot of the
performers.
Yep. And I think a lot of the guys in AEW are probably some really great dudes, nice people. The women are obviously fantastic down there. They're presented terribly, but that's a whole other story.
That women's match last night was dope.
The championship one was.
Yeah.
But anyway. But here's my thing. I don't think Brock could live with the level of professionalism that I don't think exists. I feel like Vince, even to Vince's detriment, created a world where, yes, it was all about Brock, but like you said, he's the biggest box office attraction in the history of combat sports. I don't think that the Bucks and Kenny and Cody and the people at the top, I don't see them willing to create an environment, even if it's for one night, that allows Brock to come in, because this is the wrestling business. You will work with anyone if they'll book you and if you can sell tickets. And in my opinion, I don't see that happening.
Let me ask you though.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be just, so you're saying that they wouldn't create an environment to give us a Brock Lesnar match?
No. Nothing on camera. I'm saying the problem is that Brock Lesnar has done jobs that even he thought were crap, and we all know that Brock's had some backstage issues with Vince and yada yada. That's confirmed and shown. I don't think Brock, because remember, Brock went up to Matt Riddle and pretty much just flat out said, "Dude, we're never going to work together. Stop trying." And my biggest thing is, I don't think Brock could be. You have to coddle Brock in a way. And that's fine. Brock is like the equivalent of the 8th, 9th wonder of the world. Brock Lesnar is who he is. He doesn't care. And he knows that his life, what he's been given in terms of gifts, are to make him money so he can go live the farm style. I'm not denying that Brock's wrong about that. But you have to give Brock certain concessions. And I don't think AEW has the backstage presence to be professional to what Brock's used to. That's my opinion.
Oh, dude, I think it... completely disagree.
And that's fine. And no.
Completely disagree.
Yeah. Okay, but
I think because the Khan family, I mean, regardless of their winning record, Fulham sucks, obviously, and I'm not sure how good the Jaguars were last year, but
the Jaguars were the biggest con job in NFL history because Nick Foles convinced them he was worth $110 million.
Damn. So
yep.
the fact alone that I think AEW could bring in The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin and Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, and all of these. They could legitimately. I think they could bring in every.
Well, they don't want Hulk Hogan, first of all.
No. That
because his ex-wife.
Yeah.
I think AEW has every resource that they need.
Well, they do
to provide, one, the pay.
Yes.
And two, the, whatever concessions, private jet, whatever they need.
Well, but Brock's got his own, so that's not an issue.
And 3, the backstage atmosphere that you're talking about.
Okay.
They've built how many different brands in real sports? And Brock is real sport.
Oh, yes.
Brock is real sport.
We talked about his fight in Minneapolis for the UFC versus Keith the Crazy Horse Herring. Brock Lesnar sold that. The rest of that card actually wasn't bad, but everyone that got paid that night knows that Brock's the reason why anybody paid for that pay-per-view.
Sure. I don't want to say that Brock is like it's definitely not a must-have.
No, not at all.
I don't think AEW needs Brock. I think it would just be really, really, really cool if AEW... I would love to see Brock in a situation where he's back in UFC almost.
Okay.
But for AEW.
Yes.
But for AEW.
No, yeah.
And so that means...
Because was it Bellator?
That means literally 1 to...
Was it Bellator that... Sammy Guevara showed up for Jake Hager. Was that actually?
Oh, I don't know.
Was that actually at Bellator?
I don't know.
Pretty sure that was actually Bellator.
I think so.
Yeah, because Hager had a Bellator fight very early on in his AEW tenure.
Yeah. So. And Sammy Guevara, I know for a fact was there. I don't know if Santana or Ortiz were there. Jericho was not. I do know for a fact Sammy was there.
Interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, Sammy's kind of a piece of shit, dude.
I've talked on the show. And to talk about Sammy for a second, the one thing I've said in the show is what I've spoken to a lot of wrestling people about. Look, yes, there's the argument to be made. He's a dumb kid. He said something stupid.
There's that, and then.
But there's also the
chair.
No.
The concrete.
Oh yeah.
We'll get into that. We'll get into that. But no, it's just in terms of that podcast issue. I am not necessarily giving him a pass. I am just saying that the victim in that situation has asked us to not destroy his career.
Yeah, so, I'm not even.
So we'll talk about Sammy in a second. But anyway, okay, here's my point. As I've said before, I don't want AEW to never reach heights. That's not what I want. My whole thing about it is that in my personal opinion, I would love for Brock to go there, but everything that I've learned being a Brock Lesnar almost super fan my whole life, because Brock Lesnar, in my opinion, is a Minnesota treasure. He is a Minnesota treasure from everything he's done for the state. He lived here for a while. I have followed everything Brock's done. I followed him at the University of Minnesota. That's what I felt about Brock Lesnar. My whole thing about it is that from what
bullshit. How old were you at that time? When you would have been like 10 years old.
He was just a wee little boy.
You didn't follow his ass at University of Minnesota.
I have been following.
You probably researched it. But
I've been following.
You mean you followed it in real time?
I've been following cricket since I was 8 years old.
So you were following Brock Lesnar at the University of Minnesota when you were 7.
I was following the Gophers. Everything Gopher.
And he was a Gopher, so yeah.
Everything Gopher. Okay.
That makes more sense.
But anyway, it's just everything that I've known and heard and seen about Brock. I don't think that what I've seen them produce, who they are as people, I don't see Brock meshing the way it was with Vince. Because here's the thing, like you said, he's not a must. I'm not saying give in to. I'm actually displeased that Vince gave in to Brock as much as he did. I actually 100% believe that Brock wasn't as important as Vince made him out to be. That is a detriment to Vince, and I wholeheartedly believe that. But my point is that you have to realize, and this is my problem with Tony Khan. We talked about him at the end of last week's show a lot. I don't think that Tony Khan comes across to me as a guy that can handle not the money aspect. We all know he's got the money. I don't think
personality of Brock.
That's my point. Brock is a guy that you kind of have to bend over backwards for. And here's the deal: I don't blame Brock for being the way Brock is, because Brock has that personality. But Brock was given a gift that he looked at himself when he was young and said, "You're going to pay for my ass whether you like it or not." And I don't mind that Brock has bilged Vince of all this money. I don't care, because Brock Lesnar got luckier than all of us in the gene pool, and he actually was one of those smart guys who said, I'm going to make as much money as possible. And here's the deal. If Vince don't want me, Dana White's going to want me. If Dana White don't want me, Vince is going to want me. And at the end of the day, if Vince ain't willing to do it, if Dana ain't willing to do it, yes, Tony Khan will come calling. But the problem is that Brock is never just a paycheck. A lot of guys in both this business and other business have done a lot of things for the right number in terms of money. But I don't see Brock might try one day, but if you don't cater to him one day, Brock ain't going to do it again.
Well, that's what I was going to say, too, is that...
Brock's going to take his one-day paycheck and go home.
That's kind of what I want.
Just a one-off?
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Okay,
that's, when I was saying I would love to see Brock in a UFC situation, but for AEW...
Yeah.
If they had... I mean, I was going to say if they have the resources. Obviously, they do. But if they had the...
Wherewithal?
The strategy of bringing in Brock once a year, every... Or, I mean, just once every...
AEW or UFC?
AEW.
Okay, yeah.
If they had the strategy of bringing Brock in once every 2 years...
Yeah.
And just,
I do think it bridges the gap. I understand where you're going.
I'd be so into that because,
and here's the deal. I hope you're right. I hope...
Yeah, I never want to see Brock
solely
on a weekly basis.
No.
Ever.
But that's my point, is that I hope you're right.
Yeah.
But in my heart of hearts, I am an analytical person. I am an informational, realistic type person. I don't want to be pessimistic with AEW, regardless of what's happened on this show in the past.
Right.
A lot of me shitting on them is my shitting on their performances. In terms of backstage, they're not bad dudes. They just can't put together a performance that makes sense to me.
Right.
But my point is that the problem is with me is that even if it's once a year, that once a year, can you imagine what Brock's asking for if he doesn't want to go? If he doesn't want to deal with that because here's the thing, Brock doesn't roll out of bed for less than 7 figures. We all know that. Okay, we all know that he doesn't get out of bed for less than 7 figures. But the point is that if Brock has one night and the experience is not up to his liking, does he ever come back? Does he ever give them a second chance?
Doesn't matter. AEW is going to make
for that payoff at that one time. Yeah, they wouldn't care.
But the once a year thing,
AEW is going to make their money regardless.
Fair.
And let's say that the match that they get Brock for isn't even on pay-per-view. It's like a TNT special.
Oh, if it's a TNT special, it's way better than... Because first of all, I don't know why you do $50 for a pay-per-view in 2020. I don't get that. But anyway, so...
but yeah, final thoughts on Brock.
Please, yes.
I would really love to see him outside of the WWE universe.
As would I.
But I would love... But I'd like to see him bounce... I mean, if he still can go in the octagon, I would love to see Brock and Bones.
Okay. What have I always said about Brock? If he's fully healthy, if he gets a full camp, nobody on this planet, in my opinion, can beat Brock Lesnar. He's
43 though, isn't he?
But yes, no. Brock Lesnar is over 40.
He's only a few years younger.
But my point is that Brock, again, he hit the gene lottery. The guy can still...
He's 43.
Yeah, he's 43 years old. He can still do it. But that's my thing, is that a little analysis on John Jones Bones. But John Bones Jones, my apologies. I don't think Bones has the ground game people thinks he does.
Oh, I completely disagree. I completely disagree.
The difference here is I know John has an amazing ground game.
Not as good of a ground game as Brock.
But that's what I'm saying. Bones.
Can I swear again?
Yes.
Bones would fuck Brock up in a stand up. Bones would absolutely destroy
100%
in a boxing match.
Yes. No, 100%. No,
Done.
I actually knew a guy who actually owned a boxing gym here in town for a little while. And he was actually Brock's strike coach for one of his fights. And
what's his name?
Chuck Horton.
Oh, never mind.
Anyway, Chuck even said that Brock, not the best pure striker, but then again, if you go back and watch the Mir fight, Brock's hammer fists were about as lazy hammer fist as you can get, but coming from a guy like Brock, they're heavy.
Brock's wrestling game on the ground.
Yes.
Awesome.
He's a world class. Lesnar.
He'll never. There's no one.
Brock Lesnar said it during his UFC coaching. Wrestling goes a lot farther in this sport than even those guys on that show believe.
Absolutely. It's like the.
But again,
it's almost a form of like or I was gonna say jujitsu in a way, where like, you have to. It's a game of physical chess, and you're playing moves, or you're plotting moves against your opponent.
100%. Also, good luck moving Brock off of you.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. But if I don't know, did you see the Alistair Overeem and Brock fight?
Yes, but remember, Brock was coming off the surgery.
That was right before it.
No,
I believe.
No,
Overeem
was after the surgery. Overeem was after Brock had like half of his, because Paul Heyman even said it. Paul Heyman used that as a tag thing in one of his promos for Brock. I know for a fact that Brock already had his surgery, and then he came back, and Brock didn't have a full camp for Oversteam. Also,
you might actually be right on that.
I don't think. Yeah,
you might actually be right.
Didn't Oversteam also test positive at some point?
Oh God, yes.
Yeah.
Overeem, yeah. They call him Ubereem.
Yeah, exactly.
When he's on the shit.
But that's my point, is that Brock, the only thing he ever tested positive for was ultimately was it a diuretic, or was it like a female hormone thing? I think was what it was. It was an ingredient that was like in one of the protein things he was doing.
Estrogen blocker.
Yeah, exactly. So, but anyway, here's my point. I've said that about Brock, that with a full camp, he gets all the time he needs, just like the other guy. I don't see somebody. But again, okay, let me pose you a question.
This is really funny. Before you ask me that, Alistair Overeem just completely shit on Lesnar yesterday in this article.
Interesting.
That's so funny.
Anyway,
I would love
the rematch.
The first rematch I want to see if Brock comes back is Brock and Mark Hunt.
Yes.
Oh shit. Hunt got so screwed.
I would not want to see
so screwed.
He was.
He was
on his ass for that entire fight.
Hunt?
Yes, I watched that fight. Mark Hunt deserved to lose that fight.
I disagree because Brock was testing positive before and after for that estrogen blocker.
But at the same time, I've always said, while I don't agree with doping.
Did you see Brock?
Yes.
I was gonna say earlier, that was the best shape Brock's ever been in.
No, 100%.
It was that shit that he was on.
But at the same time, but here's the other argument. We always talk about doping in sports. What's the number one sport you go to when you come to doping? Baseball. You still have to hit the damn thing. Mark Hunt could have at least fought back. Mark Hunt's never been known as.
I don't remember it being that one-sided.
I remember that fight being terribly one-sided.
But you want my opinion on Brock now?
Yeah.
Honest with him.
Actually, I want your opinion on just about anything. You don't talk.
Oh my God!
You don't talk much.
Zach talks too much. That's the problem. My opinion on him is like, honest to God, if Brock
he's into it.
If Brock is in the mood,
he'd
do it. He's made enough money. He'd go, screw this shit. I'm going up to sit next to my hot freaking wife and stay on my farm up in Canada, and I'm done.
You can make fun of the fact that his daughter got the looks of Brock. She is an athlete.
Oh my God, she is one of the best.
She is a phenomenal prospect.
Yeah, I saw a picture of her. His son too looks exactly like him.
Yeah.
He's just.
But yeah, I mean. Like, let's see, do this because I feel like it, or sit home with my hot wife. If I was Brock, it'd be like me. I had a wife like that at home.
So I might sit at home. So here's my question: do you think that Brock would be better in the now TV 14 world?
That's a really, really, really great segue. No, I don't think so, because Brock was always more violent than I thought PG allowed for. I thought when they brought Brock in 2012 again. And they did the Extreme Rules match with Cena, and there was a lot of blood in that match.
Oh yeah,
there was a ton of blood. I thought, I know it was I know at the time that was one of Brock's slogans that he was coming back to bring legitimacy, to make WWE legit again.
Yeah.
That was like his promo at the time, and because he didn't have Heyman right away.
No, he did not.
That's so weird. It's so weird.
Yeah, no, he did not.
But I think it was that particular promo.
Yes.
That he went backstage and he was like, give me Heyman. Or whatever. But
Heyman's always made Brock more legit anyway. So it was a brilliant decision.
Which, when we talk about Roman too, did you watch SmackDown at all?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I'm so excited.
Anyway,
but
let me pose this for you.
You asked if Brock would be better in the TV 14 SmackDown.
Yes.
I thought Brock was always like
too violent even for PG-13.
Well, No, just for PG.
Okay, yeah.
Because he's elbowing the shit out of Randy's head and like legit cutting him open on purpose and stuff.
Is Brock the same in your opinion, though, that Brock can have a one night like that and it fits, kind of like how Rock comes back and kind of does whatever he wants and it fits, or does Brock not have that cachet in wrestling? Brock has to be more consistent, even though he's not always there. Because Dwayne can come in one night, do whatever the hell he wants, and the fans eat it up. Let's be honest, we all do.
Well, that's because The Rock has presented himself in a variety of different ways over the years.
That's fair.
If Brock was to come in, I mean, for example, though, when Brock did the Brock party, with the
that was the best Brock
with the boombox.
He had so much fun with that,
dude. That was
so
hilarious. Like
it was so good.
That shows that for me too shows that Brock could be interested in doing other things for other people, like AEW.
That's fair.
Like there's a very, very real possibility.
It's Brock Lesnar. Anything can happen with him.
Well, dude, that's what I was gonna say. Is like there's a very real possibility that, I mean, we don't know jack shit. We don't know shit about anything. And like,
not at all.
There's a very real possibility that Brock could wake up one day, and he could say, you know what, I want to go wear a cowboy hat and play the guitar for AEW.
Right.
For free. I'm gonna do it pro bono. That's just like he's his own man. Like he could
100%.
And like who are we to?
No one's ever gonna tell Brock no.
No.
Because again, this goes back to my point. Brock is one of the few great people who hit the genetic lottery and actually realized I can actually get paid for this.
Right.
And not in the sense of, give me $100 million contract. Brock says, give me $100 million to show up 4 times.
Right.
Brock Lesnar...
He doesn't have $100 million.
Oh, he's got more than that.
Well...
to show up one night, maybe.
$100 million.
I'm comparing Brock to like a pro athlete in any other sport that hit the genetic lottery.
Dog, if
Bo Jackson, prime example. Bo knew what he was, but Bo took deals that in a lot... Bo could have gone to other football or baseball teams and gotten paid a hell of a lot more.
Sure.
But he went to where he went. My point is that Brock, from day one, realized I'm going to hold out for what I want now because I know what you think of me. That's what I'm saying.
Sure.
Is that I don't know of another athlete who hit the lottery like him genetically, but then
Still
also so quickly figured out, you're going to pay me or else someone else will.
Still sucks at football, though. No one was going to pay him to play football.
He was still the 54th guy cut from an NFL roster. You can't snap at that. And by the way, the Minnesota Vikings admitted one of the only reasons they didn't want to keep him was because of the fact he got into too many fights, and they wanted to practice squad him. So you're talking about the fact that he was the 5th, and I'm not trying to Heyman this. I'm a big football analytic guy.
Yeah.
If you're the 54th guy cut from an NFL team, somebody's going to give you a call. Brock just turned around and said UFC is going to pay me more. Because nobody was going to pay Brock Lesnar the way Brock Lesnar deserved to get paid in the NFL. He knew that.
Did he even have offers? I thought I read he had an offer from the Canada Football League.
He did. But the Canadian Football League always, and this is not knocking Canadian football, they always send out feelers to the top 10 guys cut from every team. That is a common Canadian football rumor, is that they will always contact those top 10 guys because then that will solidify their top tier roster for their season.
Is there a chance that Brock might be one of the greatest of all time?
You know, it's interesting. That was actually
greatest of all time in just
wrestling.
Sports entertainment, combat sports.
Combat sports entertainment. No. Combat sports entertainment. The real and the.
Well, Jim Cornette
I would put him as a GOAT. Oh yeah, definitely.
Jim Cornette even said on one of the drive-thrus, as a guy who has been presented a certain way, can you name a guy who not only was presented a certain way, but pretty much for the entirety of his career, not only stayed in that lane, but made it believable?
Right.
I've always said, look, you're right, Brock could go do anything and he'd probably be successful because of the name alone.
Right.
But he took something and he stayed serious. That's why, in my opinion, Brock is always a better worker than anyone's ever given him credit for, because Brock understood wrestling to a level that even some of the great guys I've seen, I don't want to say Finn Balor doesn't get wrestling, but I think that he is at Finn Balor level, even though people will never think that, because Brock got the mental side of my presentation is everything. How you perceive me is everything. Brock didn't give a damn if he came in and he presented himself like, let's say, Finn, the Bucks, and then all that sort of Daniel Bryan influence type stuff, Shinsuke Nakamura. He didn't care. He said, I'm going to be the powerhouse, whether you like it or not, and at the end of the day, whether the fans liked it or not, you paid for the ticket when you heard Brock Lesnar was on the card. So yes, I think Brock could be in that conversation. Now yes, the common wrestling fan will say, well, you got Flair, you got Steamboat, you got, Hogan, this, that. No. When you talk about a guy who has maximized his earning potential,
right.
When you talk about a guy who has maximized one individual character virtually from day one, without a shadow of a doubt, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Brock Lesnar is in that category because there are... Okay, so prime example is Triple H. There are nuances to the character, but you never get away from Hunter Hearst Helmsley Triple H. Brock, there's nuances, but they're so subtle that you always come back to, he just going to lift you up and toss you like he does Spike Dudley.
Yeah.
So, honestly, Brock, as the greatest of all time, it's not a dumb conversation.
It's already 5 o'clock. Holy crap.
There we go. Anyway, so we move on from there. So TV 14, they're obviously trying. Are they doing it on Raw or is that just on SmackDown?
Was it TV 14?
I saw it on
I think
SmackDown.
all around.
I just don't know if it's on Raw yet.
I think
today?
it is.
Today's Sunday?
Yeah.
We'll find out tomorrow.
Yeah.
I believe so.
Okay.
I think that's what they're going for.
So Eric, you have an extensive backstage presence, obviously, in the wrestling business,
sure.
and obviously your era.
Well, in our little pocket of the Midwest.
I mean, it still counts. So WWE has a new social media policy. 30 days, people have to end third-party stuff. I'm not going to ask you what you think of it because I think we all think it's kind of stupid. I think we all think that Vince is being an old crotchety man at this point.
Right.
But here's my question.
Oh, I read on who did it.
Yeah, we all know Lana's probably the one that broke the camel's back.
It was her.
But Lana's had issues.
What did she do?
Lana did a Bang commercial.
Yes, and didn't use her own. It was using
Lana's had trouble
guy's company that the Bang, his executive, his account. For whatever reason, I think maybe that's what Vince got mad about.
Lana's always been an issue on social media, and this is legit. She got in trouble for that whole sexy shoot she did with Rusev while she was, early on in his career.
I think they just look for shit to get Lana in trouble for.
Here's the deal, though. Without WWE,
maybe.
Does anybody remember?
She got over on her own.
Fair enough. No.
And Rusev.
Yes, not deny it. However, Lana did get Rusev knocked off of Twitch. That's a real thing. She got Rusev kicked off of Twitch. Anyway.
What was that again? The feet? Was it because she had bare feet?
I don't know. Okay.
She showed up in a bikini.
She showed up. And again,
someone told me it was because they showed her bare feet, and like people are psychos, and they just wanted to watch her feet.
Twitch wants nothing to do with the online feet community. That is a huge thing on Twitch.
That's so funny to me. I don't know why.
That is a huge thing on Twitch.
I know it is.
100% legit thing. Every single top YouTuber constantly talks about that as a joke for Twitch.
Can you even talk about feet on Twitch?
You can talk about it, but you can't show anything. It's a visual thing.
Can you imagine some dude just like sitting there watching a girl like play Fortnite and just like, oh man, I wish I could see her feet right now. Like,
well, I'm sure it's happening.
What the?
Because a lot of Twitch streamers.
That's so funny.
Because I've actually watched a lot of Twitch streamers. They can say almost anything they want.
Yeah.
They just have to be careful of what they physically are showing.
That makes a lot of sense.
And that's more Twitch saying because again, Patreon has blown up a little bit more because they are letting people like Darren Corbin, who has his own Patreon account. We'll pimp that one more time.
I was featured on a video on.
There you go.
Yeah. I've heard people getting such dope shit from his Patreon.
Oh, his Patreon's fantastic. It's absolutely gold. Cash money. But anyway, Patreon got a boom. As our interview with Darren pointed out, it got a boom because YouTube continues to change up their regulations and their algorithms to where a lot of people have completely left YouTube and now they're solely Twitch streaming because Twitch allows a lot more freedom, but when it comes to what you physically show on Twitch, they don't want any part of that non-family friendly atmosphere. So anyway, back to the whole social media thing.
Yeah, I don't understand how it's legal for them to prevent.
It's probably not, and that's why I think within those 30 days, the public outlash will probably get Vince to either get rid of it or get rid of it.
I thought the backlash would be worse by now.
Oh, yeah.
To be honest with
you.
you.
Yeah,
So
give him
anyway,
a little time.
But anyway, here's my question to you. And it's a two-part question. The first part is the question, and then the second part is my example, and I want you to see if you would do something like this if you were in that position. The question is, what can social media bring to an individual, even beyond Zack Ryder got over, even beyond Lana got over? That's part one. And number two is, do you think that Vince has failed with the network in the sense that he could have avoided this whole policy thing by literally calling 6 people in catering, sending them to Connecticut for 2 weeks and say, go make 12 episodes of whatever show you want. Toss it on the network. He doesn't have to pay for the network because he owns it. And then see what gets people over. I mean, like, okay, we all know social media is a way to get news. It's a way to promote yourself. But what can it do specifically for a company and a wrestler who are really trying to expand themselves? And do you think Vince has dropped the ball on Up, Down, Down could have just gone on the WWE Network? They give Xavier a little more money on YouTube,
I see
and boom, Up, Down, Down is one of the most watched things on the network. It brings in traffic. Do you think Vince failed in he didn't take advantage of what he had in his lap as a quote-unquote ability to make a third-party addition, in a way?
I mean, in a word, yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of shocking.
When you own the content, you can put whatever you want on there.
I think there's some. They do have to pay for the.
Well,
they have to pay
for the streaming service.
Well, they got to pay to produce the content. And
but what I'm saying,
they do have to pay for the servers.
Yes. Yeah. But everyone does that.
Because I think MLB helped WWE create the network.
Yes.
So they're paying them to broadcast that shit out.
But that's my point. Is that but
yeah, to your end, if I had a property like Zack Ryder, who with the Z Long Island thing, and he got so over with that, and I had.
If I was Vince, I would have just called him and said, "Hey, leave YouTube, go on the network," and it wouldn't have changed.
I wouldn't have even asked him to leave YouTube. I guess that's where I'm at with it too.
Yeah.
Is that if
because I feel like up, down, down, I think is safe because Austin does a lot of pro WWE stuff, and all the people that are on there, other than him, they all have their ring names. They're all ring named on up, down, down, except for him. He's Austin Creed.
I think the WWE YouTube account posts some.
They do
up, down, down stuff.
They do.
So
yeah, they do.
By the way, up, down, down versus left, right, which is Austin versus Adam Cole and Tyler Breeze and Cesaro. That is some of the funniest content you will ever find. They are comedic geniuses when they're put together.
I could see that sticking around just because it seems like Woods has played ball basically with Vince.
He censors a lot of swearing. There's no swearing on up, down, down. That's censored.
That's noble. But
I mean,
I don't know, man. I don't want to shit on Vince because he's a legend and he's done everything.
There's always business stuff that you, me, and Leroy will never be privy to. I get that. Sure. But what I'm saying is that there's so much more than just, we're the number one thing on Twitter. Dude, take advantage of Cameo. Take advantage of Twitch. Take advantage of these things. Use them. Don't just say stop.
However, when you get too deep into shit like that, there becomes legality issues.
Yes.
There becomes licensing issues,
copyright. Well, this is the joke that Leroy and I always say is that when Leroy's phone goes off, you can only play Stone Cold's theme for so long before we have to probably pay somebody because we don't own the licensing to that song.
Yeah, that's also true. So I mean, I can understand. So here's the thing: I think Vince McMahon is too old and out of touch to be running a company that's main demographic is someone who is
18 to 49, basically.
Well, I was gonna say 50 years younger than he is.
Exactly. Okay.
And he doesn't.
Fair.
Vince doesn't. There's no possible way. Maybe there is. I mean, he's obviously got super smart people that surround him and educate him on things that he's not on TikTok, is what I'm saying.
No, he's not wrong when he says he's never actually lost a lawsuit. That's not a tagline. He's never really lost a lawsuit.
That's awesome. Good for him.
He's
good.
Yeah,
good lawyers.
Mm-hmm. This just seems like.
Is it a money grab to you?
No. Well, everything Vince does is obviously a money grab, but I see this as more of I see it as being more emblematic of Vince's inability to appreciate the things around him that he didn't create.
That's fair. That's entirely fair.
I think that if do you remember Tout?
Yes.
So that was WWE's.
That was a thing for a little bit.
That was a thing for a little bit.
Yeah.
That was WWE's like big foray into.
That was their version of Vine, essentially.
Well, it was a separate company that made Tout, but WWE was like their main financier. And
yes.
So yeah, but that was their answer to Vine, and I guess what I'm saying is like if it was still around today.
Yeah. And
if Tout was still around.
Yes.
And in viable competition with YouTube, and if Vine was still around, and TikTok, basically what I'm saying is like if Tout was a viable product right now,
yes,
Vince would probably just tell everyone to go to Tout because he created it.
Yes.
And so my question here is, if you're gonna prevent your 1099 employees,
yes,
from basically having other 1099s, because
yes.
I mean, like, the 1099.
Because Lacey Evans recently got into YouTube, and she now has her own YouTube channel,
right.
Limitless Lady. I don't know if she gets to keep that because that is technically she is Lacey Evans, and she's playing the character on YouTube.
That's really sketchy.
So I don't know what's going to happen with Limitless Lady.
That is really.
It's a lot of home stuff,
yeah.
but she does it through WWE. She does it through the looking glass. The lens, yes, the prism. The lens.
Yeah, that's where it gets really, really sketchy, and where I don't want to say I can appreciate Vince's motivation.
Yeah.
But because I don't appreciate it.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I think that he's gonna have to make this acceptable. Yeah. He's gonna have to start paying people a shit ton more money.
Oh yeah.
Because
they're making a lot of money on Cameo and Twitch.
Dude,
Twitch pays out.
I read some crazy statistic about Paige yesterday, and you probably read it too, where Paige just started Twitch, I guess, like less than a year ago, and she's already up to 15,000 subscribers. And if every single one
AJ Styles, I think, has a couple million
on Twitch. AJ Styles?
I know that AJ's Twitch account gets a lot of traffic.
So
I don't know.
So just for this example, Paige has 15,000 subscribers, and if they were all tier 1, and she had a 3-4 split or something, or whatever I don't know what the numbers are exactly, but she was making $15,000 a month.
Yes.
Just on Twitch.
Well, think about this. Markiplier.
That's insane.
Well, think about this. Markiplier is the second biggest singular YouTuber behind PewDiePie.
What happened to T-Series?
No. He's a single person running his own channel. T-Series.
Oh, T-Series is like a group of people?
Yes, they're an Indian.
Well, that's lame. I never knew that. I thought T-Series was like one person. Well, I don't ever watch T-Series or PewDiePie for that matter.
I'm really into like the YouTube stuff.
For sure.
As we have our own YouTube channel, please subscribe. We're up to 30 now.
Yeah, I know. We need to get that up to our Facebook, because our Facebook is
112.
Oh no, 114.
Oh, it was bigger than that? Fantastic.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Markiplier, okay, so I don't know, okay, so you can actually look up what Markiplier makes per year, but Markiplier, if you think about this, he's probably now about 30, 31 years old. He has his own place in Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. He owns a Tesla.
Oh, yeah.
He bought a Tesla for himself, and some of the videos he does, like, weird example, but they recently just, for his other channel called Unis Honest, which he's actually deleting in about 70 days. The idea behind Unis Honest was one video every day for 365 days.
I know who you're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah,
so anyway, one of their most recent videos, they decided to analyze their own poop. So they bought a kit that you send off to a lab. Here's why this is the prime example. That's a $500 kit. They bought 2 of them.
That's fantastic.
So
they probably had a sponsor for.
No.
They don't have sponsors for every episode?
No. They have.
Damn.
They've been. Okay.
I wouldn't want to.
They have spent 2.5 months on this channel trying to get a Del Monte vegetable sponsorship because Mark drank corn juice. I'm not kidding.
They're not legit trying to get that, though. That's like AEW trying to get a Cracker Barrel sponsorship.
No.
Legit?
No. Well, first of all, Markiplier has said many. First of all, Markiplier is the premier channel for Sour Patch Kids reviews. All the Sour Patch stuff that's going to come out, the ice cream, the bars they've done. He has actually personally had Sour Patch send him the product, and he has reviewed their stuff.
I bet Del Monte is not doing it because they're getting like more exposure for free just by him.
That's pretty much it.
God dang, we got to try that.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not going to drink no juice either.
So Leroy,
that's a really good-looking Burger King burger you got right there.
Yeah.
I drink the Sonny every single episode. That's a true statement.
And I don't use anything other than Samsung phones.
There we go.
Well, yeah, that's what I got too.
We all got
Samsung.
But,
Leroy, yeah.
Is that a Note 10 or a Note?
Note 10 Plus with the.
Dude, we got the same exact
with the
phone.
stylus.
Exact same
I know,
phone.
I love it.
I got the white one.
We have the exact same.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We all have the exact same phone. I just don't have the stylus version.
Why?
Because
he was cheap.
Because
so it's not the same.
I don't enjoy cell phones. I get the cheapest model that I can get that's going to be good.
My mom think I was crazy. Got into other.
I thought I would absolutely hate the stylus. What do you think about it?
I like it.
Do you use it?
Yeah, I use it when
I use it every day.
When we record videos, I set up the camera and I can boom.
Oh, that's amazing!
Boom.
I just draw a lot of shit.
But
you know the DPW title belt?
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Oh yeah.
Dude, I should have. Oh, I should have.
You should have brought it. Oh, I was thinking about like,
Damn.
maybe that's what I thought. Like maybe I'll bring the belt.
Okay, quick side note. We will be doing a lot of work with DPW, and we're going to be going live with DPW at some point. We'll be able to see that belt all day long.
Dude, we've had.
Oh, we're gonna go Facebook Live sometime.
We've legit. Oh yeah, I'll bring
another tease that for
bring
everybody.
it over. Hell yeah.
Sweet.
Dude, we've had.
My son would love that. Oh,
I think 6 different people asked for replica belts, and we haven't even had a show yet.
There's no show.
We haven't even had a show.
Well, belts are awesome.
Yeah.
I mean,
dude, I'm so
my
happy.
son,
Leroy,
if he sees that belt, he'd be like, "Dad, can I get one of these?" No, I can't afford that right now.
That's one thing that I want to do is that no wrestling company or like indie wrestling company is getting like their own toy belts made.
Right.
Or like
it's a merchandising deal that's sort of been saved for the rich.
Sure, yeah. Well, I mean, you probably have to order.
Stoked.
I mean, if you can find somebody that's going to actually like manufacture a toy belt for you, you probably have
to.
Apparently,
there's a place in Pakistan where you can get a $1,200 belt and it's like legit.
Yeah,
really
SM belts.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so Leroy, going back to what I was saying, am I or am I not sort of known on the show as a Vince defender?
Oh yeah,
that's kind of my thing.
Yeah, that's yeah.
I can't stand with Vince on this, but then again, I am like Eric. I believe that anything that comes out, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Twitch, it's all something that if you're not tunnel visioned, you can use as a tool for your. It can always benefit you. This is, but see, I put Vince in the category in his own. In the sports entertainment world, Vince McMahon is Steve Jobs. But the problem is that when you look at Steve, no, hold on. The problem is when you look at Steve Jobs, Steve Jobs was always very singular-minded. That's why I think Apple ended up. Apple took a hit when he passed away because he was the idea guy.
I'm trying to.
Yeah, he had a
visualize this analogy. Say that again. Vince is the Steve Jobs of pro wrestling?
Not pro wrestling, sports entertainment. Not in the sense that Vince created a $1 trillion brand. What Vince did was that, okay, sadly I'm saying this in a negative, I'm not trying to say this positive, this is a negative connotation.
Right.
He is the Steve Jobs because Steve Jobs, my dad, again, big tech guy, was always into Apple as they were, my dad got one of the first 1,000 iPads in existence. He wanted that. He wanted to find the bugs. He
Still
wanted
have
to
it?
know, no, he's way past it at this point. He stopped using Apple products years ago. Anyway,
I've never used Apple products.
We're not getting an Apple sponsor because I refuse.
Samsung.
I have the old brick iPod because I have too much music. Anyway,
that's hilarious.
No, but I actually ripped all of the extra stuff off of it, so it solely has music. It's a legit 160 gig iPod with only music. No games, no nothing.
That's amazing.
But anyway, here's the deal. Vince's singularity in terms of his trajectory has always frustrated me because, dude, why the hell do you not have all the wrestlers on Twitch? Why are they not all on YouTube? If anything, it's free advert. Look, here's the deal.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. Let them all do their own show. Stick your freaking label. So, look, it doesn't even have to be, okay, if you put it on the screen, that's a different thing. Then it's a branding thing. Xavier Woods could hang a WWE towel behind his gaming chair, and and everyone just assumes, oh, he works there, he's got a bunch of free merch. It's the end. That's it. You got free advertising for months, and that video's not going away.
No, that's true. I think Vince's concern is the association factor. It's like if my brand's content is on this platform that has other content that I don't like my sponsors and my
He's
investors.
always been known as the guy who basically killed the territories because he wanted everything for himself.
And keep in mind too, Vince owns the only ever in history publicly traded wrestling promotion in history.
So
he has investors to answer to, stakeholders, a board of directors. It could I'm not trying to defend Vince whatsoever.
No. And by the way, for those of you out there, legitimately when Vince came out and told Triple H he was no longer the COO, yes, that was a storyline thing, but here's the deal. The board of directors in real life, their only focus is the financial future of the company.
Hell yeah.
That is the only reason they sit on that board.
That's pretty much every...
A lot of board of directors people work for other companies, but they have stake in WWE.
Well, the SEC requires any publicly traded company to have a board of directors for financial viability and for
they do.
Fiduciary reasons.
Yes, 100%.
I like I said, I'm not defending Vince whatsoever.
No.
But there's a very real possibility that this kind of came down from people not above him, but around him. Because
he is the owner and he's made himself into the public face, he takes a lot of flack for stuff he has no control over. Because people think just because you're the chairman... Look, the chairman of the board...
Deservedly so, though. He's probably gotten a lot of credit for shit that he didn't...
100%.
You know?
Here's the deal. Here's the deal. A lot of times the chairman is a lot like the Supreme Justice of the Supreme Court. He gets a vote, but his vote doesn't mean anymore. It's not worth 2 versus 1. He's just the guy who calls the meeting together, reads over the last minutes. He's the one that flows the meeting. But that doesn't mean that Vince has any more power in terms of the financial aspect as, say, 3 other people who he may have just hired.
Yeah.
So
it comes down to a vote. Yeah.
So at the end of the day, we don't know. Let's see what happens. Vince may just be the fall guy.
That's also kind of why I don't think you alluded earlier to that WWE was going to be taken over by Triple H, but everything that I've read regarding that from Vince himself says that it's going to get handed down to a number of different people. It's not going to be one.
I saw
it's probably going to be a situation.
They put an interview up on and Howard Stern asked him that. I don't know how many years ago, but he said, it's the company is going to be given to Stephanie, his son, and Shane, and then his daughter-in-law. That's who is going to be split up. But Triple H is going to be part of that.
Yes, but the difference
they're going to own the company. Yes. Like his kids are going to own the company, but Triple H probably is gonna run the shows.
The difference is
and all the talent
stuff. Who's gonna run the company?
I think with the wrestling, own it. It's going to be Shane, Stephanie, his wife, and probably Triple H. Them 4 people are going to own it.
Kevin Dunn is going to own a piece of it too.
Yeah,
he might.
But that's the point. Because they're publicly traded, Vince has more assets than people think. We also have to remember WWE is a part of Titan Entertainment, and that has its own thing that goes on. That's how Vince won.
But the 4 major people that are going to own that company is going to be his kids, his 2 kids,
because Stephanie's the principal owner. She owns the most stock. That's an actual real.
And their husband and
statistic.
wife. That's who's going to run. And
that's an actual
Triple
real
H.
thing.
Triple H is going to be the face of the wrestling side of it.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, no way around that.
Yeah.
All right. What are we jumping to now? Are we done with that one?
No, that was great. Eric, quick thing here for you.
Yo.
So we've had a thing talking about AEW and NXT and all that stuff all day in the ratings. If they move NXT off of Tuesday, beneficial to NXT, beneficial to either company, or just beneficial to the business in general?
I want to say beneficial to the business in general because...
Is Impact on Tuesdays?
It is. But it's not...
It's not that big.
It's not as mainstream.
So here's what I would do. I would move NXT to Thursday.
Agreed. 100%.
I mean, Tuesday is probably better for ratings.
Yes.
But Oh, maybe I would move NXT to Tuesdays and then move Impact to Thursdays, where it originally was.
Well, the thing is, Impact, in my opinion, has always tried to. No, it's really weird. They have this stigma where whoever owns them, whether it's the Jarretts, whether it's the Carters, whether it's even Anthem. Sinclair and Anthem, what's really weird.
Well, Sinclair doesn't own Impact; they own Ring of Honor.
Sorry,
Yep.
But anyway, there's always been a weird aura that whoever gets it, they've tried to compete with somebody else. It hasn't always been Vince. They've always tried, because I think Anthem tried to go head-to-head with Ring of Honor television when they had that short stint. Oh, it wasn't Access they were on.
They didn't.
Ring of Honor was on somebody.
It was something different. It was more of a collaboration rather than a competition.
Well, Ring of Honor was like their...
So what happened was Destination America
Yeah.
picked up Impact Wrestling, I think it was called at the time,
Yes.
and they picked up Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
They put Ring of Honor on before Impact, I think, or
It was after.
Was it after? Directly after?
I used to always stay up an extra hour. It killed me going to school, but I used to always stay up an extra hour later to watch that hour-long Ring
Going to school?
It was definitely worth. He's just a kid.
How old are you?
28.
I'm 29. And they did that.
I've been in college for 7 years.
Jeez.
I was in college for 7 years.
And as
I'm
I
trying
say,
to I'm trying to line up your life with you.
As I say all the time, and anything I get into, I'm the old guy here.
Yeah, pretty much.
God dang.
But anyway, go ahead. You were talking about Destination America had both.
Yeah. I mean, so that's irrelevant too. I mean, what I want is, when was it? It was like 2017, right after they did the brand split.
Yes.
Again.
Yes.
They had Monday Night Raw, Tuesday Night SmackDown, NXT on Wednesdays.
Yep.
There was something on
Superstars was on Thursdays.
And then there was something on Fridays too, I believe. Or maybe I got. Oh, so no. Monday night was
Raw.
Always Raw.
SmackDown Live was Tuesday.
No. It was Monday night was Raw. Tuesday night Impact. It was
right. Okay.
NXT and AEW on Wednesday.
I'm following.
And then it was NWA Power on Thursday.
Right. Yeah.
And then it was Friday SmackDown. So every day.
So you're not talking SmackDown Live era. You're talking the rebranded SmackDown.
Friday Night SmackDown.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. Friday night.
It is still live.
No.
Yeah, it's back live
now.
I understand, but
it's just not called SmackDown Live anymore.
Yeah. No, that was it. It was legitimately called SmackDown Live.
I was wondering about that.
That's when Shane sort of took over and said, "We're gonna change the bit."
I really enjoyed that. Man, they were really hitting it out.
They were the first ones, and here's the thing. I'm not confirming this, but to me, what I remember is they were the first show because it wasn't Raw. They did the picture-in-picture during the commercial. They were the NXT wasn't doing that first, and SmackDown Live did that the very first SmackDown Live after the draft. SmackDown Live did the picture-in-picture, and I'm like,
WWE has been doing picture-in-picture for years.
But they were the first ones to do it in this era since you said since the brand split.
Yeah. Oh, they're the first. They're just the first company that ever did it.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
I think. I mean.
Yeah.
AEW. I hate. When I'm watching AEW, I
can't.
That's one of the
watch
things.
Their picture-in-picture.
It's one of the things that, like, if my back was like a chalkboard and I'm just scratching on it, is when JR and Tony are like
trying to go.
We're going to picture-in-picture. Enjoy your picture-to-picture. It's like, dude,
JR doesn't
don't just shut.
JR doesn't give a shit anymore. JR doesn't care.
I don't know why it bugs me like that. It's so trivial, and like, I don't know. I cannot stand when they say that.
I actually agree with you moving to Thursday because here's the deal. I don't want. Okay, first of all, here's the deal.
Well, I just want a wrestling show on every day.
Well, every day of the week. Yeah.
We have turned the Wednesday Night Wars into something that is basically a generic B version of the Attitude Era, of the Monday Night Wars. We're not. Here's the deal. I hate to say, I got worn out in the Attitude Era. Like I was glad when all that kind of ended because you were hyped so much. Everything was crazy. But here's my thing. I don't think
I loved it.
I don't think we want it again.
Put my girlfriend to sleep every night, which is good.
I don't think we want that anymore. I think like you said, we just want wrestling. So in my opinion,
well, I want really what I want out of wrestling
is the health of the brand of just the sport.
That, but I mean, I want those New Japan level crazy hard hitting matches. Like I want my wrestling to be very sport.
Yeah.
Like I want it to be very hard hitting and believable, and then I want the storylines to be very emotional, very dramatic, very atmospheric. I want the.
There is only one, but I want to see Mirno Suzuki a heck of a lot more.
Damn, dude.
There's only one of him, but God, do I want to see more.
I saw him in Chicago. I believe it was in Chicago. It was Suzuki in a 6-man tag, and Shane Taylor was in the match too.
Okay. Is he as intimidating in real life as he is on camera?
Suzuki or Shane Taylor? I have no idea. Well, actually, Suzuki in real life it's kind of funny because he's a short dude with like a funny haircut.
Well, the camera angle definitely helps him in Japan.
Yeah.
He always looks bigger than his opponents, but he's only about 5'10". I mean, like I'm probably half as taller than he is.
I thought he was like 5'8".
Pretty sure it's between 5'8" and 5'10".
Well, I think that's not kind of like 5'8", 5'9" is like the average heavyweight champion overall over the years that have been the champion. I mean, they're not overly big. They're kind of average.
So Leroy, all in all, where do you want NXT going forward?
That's 5'10".
Well, I mean, moving on to a different night, it would be fun, and I don't get access to all of the wrestling shows I wish I did.
Yeah.
Where it would be fun to have wrestling on every single day of the week. I can entertain myself for that, and
I think it would open up AEW to be more of themselves too.
It could be, yeah, it could be. Which would
be great. Which, by the way, I would love. The problem is that I've been, and I'll admit, I've been pulled into the world of comparing the two shows. And
to me, there's no comparison.
But no. I agree. But my point is that you get caught up in that mob mentality type stuff because that's what the internet wants to do. But here's the deal: my style is NXT, but I don't necessarily hate AEW. But again, when I review the shows and I talk about what I don't like it. But again, when I compare the two, I don't like AEW. But if AEW is solely on its own and nobody's telling me to say, hey, how about NXT? In a vacuum, I don't hate the show.
Sure.
But when I view it, the best example is if I view it through the eyes of an NXT viewer, it's schizophrenic as hell. But if I was just able to view it in the eyes of a wrestling fan, it's really not terrible. But the problem is that because of the wars, I can't turn that off. But I'll be honest, I've been able to do that since the NBA and the NHL took over those slots.
So I think both products have been much more enjoyable, and the ratings would reflect that.
I'm not saying you have to work together. I'm just saying you guys don't need to work against each other. Does that make sense?
Yeah, damn right.
I totally.
With the what do they call it? Preempt for the NWA.
Yes.
I keep calling the NBA the NWA.
NBA, yeah.
Jeez, you can tell I've never watched basketball in my life. But
well, that's all right.
So,
Wolves have the number one pick.
I think if you look at the ratings, NXT on a different night does better ratings.
Yeah.
AEW without competition does better ratings, and even on a different night on Saturday, they do just as good of ratings. Dude, the AEW is going to
unless they go head again against.
Let's transition straight into the pay-per-view because before we get to All Out, I want to point out All Out. For those of you who watch the show, know that I have ripped pretty much every AEW show we reviewed on here, and I'm going to do that a little bit here. However, you're going to hear me compliment them a little bit more, despite the fact I think a lot of people said this is probably the worst pay-per-view that they've ever done. But going forward, this is my thing. They continue to do things that are pot shots at WWE, and that's been my biggest frustration with them.
I love that for whatever reason.
Which is okay.
Because I know that they
secretly I do love it because that's the cynical part of me. Right. But in my opinion, if I was in the offices, I would say focus on what we're doing. Don't even acknowledge what they're doing.
That's a big thing too.
It's like every once in a while that's all right.
The problem is though, I've said this before. The Bucks made money in an era where it was really cool to hate on WWE at that time, and I think their popularity has somewhat dwindled because the hate for WWE. It's not gone away, but it's not as big as it used to be because they brought in so much indie talent. They quarreled a little bit of that hype that the Bucks had. Right. So my biggest problem is I have found the Bucks since day one to finally, after a couple years watching them, I found their overall gimmick to be sort of one-dimensional in the sense that you guys are still trying to be the anti-WWE.
Yeah, I know they're good.
Are you homemade?
Oh, yes. The home. Dude, I made the cookies. Yeah, I made cookies. Everybody knows.
We still have
just
cookies.
Before they came in, I had a fresh batch coming out of the oven.
Oh yeah.
Take as many.
He'll wrap them up for you.
Oh, hell yeah.
Will you really?
Oh, yeah.
heck yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Bruh.
no. Hell yeah,
I'm
no.
coming on this podcast every Sunday for the cookies.
What about, hey, hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. He's
So,
got banana bread. He's got banana bread.
I gotta
For
pull
co-
some bananas out of the freezers. I can make some banana bread.
for context, anyone who's listening right now, there has been
plate.
1 foot away from my face
A plate
a
of chocolate.
bowl of chocolate chip cookies this entire time
And he hasn't.
since we started recording, and I don't know what was going on with my subconscious,
2
but
hours.
I just now.
Well, you told me that you'd already eaten, so I assumed.
Oh yeah, that's what it.
Yeah, you weren't hungry
yeah.
right then.
So I assumed. So anyway, so
Dude, the chocolate.
Another reason to show up at my
So I
place
just,
for a podcast.
so I just took a bite out of this cookie, and like the chocolate chips are just like melting.
and they're
with
still
the-
melting, and they've been sitting there for almost an hour,
They've legit been sitting here for like over an hour.
and they're
almost
still
two.
and they're still melting.
So
I'd like
good.
to publicly thank my mom for giving me that good gene
Thank you, Leroy's
to
mom.
learn how to
Thank you,
bake.
Leroy's mother.
My mom, Linda, I love you to death. Maybe
hail.
she might have. Well, she probably don't hear this because she only listens
I
to.
know, I
She
know.
only listens to a minute because she's
Holy
afraid we're
crap.
going to swear so much.
I also want to point out thank you to your grandmother. May she rest in peace. But thank her
Oh.
last night for Buxton's single. Thank you for
Grandma Winslow, I love you.
So anyway,
This cookie is super good.
so Eric, I actually have some notes here
Okay.
of the pay-per-view because once again AEW.
Are we gonna do it? Hey, I printed off, like
you have the
usual.
matches. Yep.
But they had another thing on there where this is the contestants for the Battle Royal.
Yeah.
And it has the draw clubs, diamond, hearts, spades. I'm not sure.
I've got all
about
that written down too. Yeah.
And then the Joker, but it actually has
The breakdown.
when they were, which position they were in, whatever or
Right,
card
yeah.
they were,
Yeah.
when they came in, who they were eliminated by, and how many eliminations.
Yep.
I thought that was
Yep.
kind of neat.
So
I'm
anyway,
like, yeah. Can
okay,
we get
so
a rundown of this?
We'll do that when we get to the match there. Yeah. But anyway,
Well, no, this
yeah.
I got.
Yeah. No. Pass it over. Yeah.
What?
No, hold on.
I can read this, can't
Okay.
I?
Well,
You haven't heard. I haven't
Let's
talked
get
that
to
much.
the match. It wasn't the first
Yeah, you
match.
really don't
Leroy.
talk that
No,
much.
I'm
man.
talking about all the match. Yeah, Zach likes to. People pick on me. He's like, "Why does he talk so much?" Well,
I
'cause
noticed
he's
that
Zach.
in your Darren interview from 2018, which is a phenomenal interview.
To
but
be-
you don't talk too much.
To be fair, Leroy didn't talk much, but Leroy got the most action out of Darren. So.
I didn't talk much, and I got the most action.
He
and-
doesn't need to
That's
talk
what it
much
is.
for stuff to happen.
And then I got a little speechless at the end.
a little bit.
Darren's
Oh.
that was a surprisingly amazing interview.
Every time we've worked with him, I'm not joking. Every time that we've done anything with him, I don't know why.
Yeah.
Nothing goes wrong. Knock on wood. But
'Cause-
every time we work with him, nothing goes wrong.
I guess I could. I mean, yeah, I could probably say the same thing.
It's his attention to the detail of what he does.
Oh, God.
Darren's really. I don't know how. I'm.
We actually had this conversation last night, me and Darren. Darren is the type of guy that he tries to come off very authentic, but he also
He tries to come off authentic.
He does. I mean, he obviously does. What he said is that he basically walks that fine line of I'm myself, but I have a plan.
Sure.
It's very free flowing, but he has a plan.
I think Darren is probably one of the most innovative indie wrestlers.
100%.
Oh God, yes.
100%.
Just based off of, like, I know, like, Darren obviously doesn't have the highest opinion about me, and that's perfectly fine.
Yeah,
But I think, the times that I have worked with Darren, he has gotten the show out of catastrophe. Like, he has legitimately, like, just for example, No Love Lost 1,
Okay.
I believe.
Yeah.
We had that fatal 4-way set up with all the women.
Yes.
Yeah, that was on one.
And 3 of them were they were in Cloquet, and they stopped and they said we got to turn around. And Darren, I remember we were just backstage, and Darren had walked up to me and he was like, "What should I do?" And I was like, "I have to ask Dave." And I think I had suggested to Dave to let him go out, and it was probably Darren who suggested to have him go out and do that pipe bomb.
Yeah.
Dude, producing for Heavy on Wrestling, one of my absolute favorite things to do, and I told Darren this number of times, like,
Yeah.
he was the most fun to produce for, as far as the in-house
point out-
in-house content.
Can I point out with that interview, I asked you if Darren would be down for something.
I did. Yeah, you did.
You told me contact him. Within 5 minutes, he accepted my friend request and he answered me.
Yeah.
And within 30 minutes, he asked, "What's the next event you're going to?" And I'm like, "I don't know. We'll figure this out."
Sure.
And then 2 days later, you and I decided we're going to Grand Slam.
Yep.
And then a day after we decided, I'm like, "Hey, we're going to Grand Slam." He goes, "Cool, we'll do it." And he was down.
Oh,
it was
God,
great.
yeah.
So anyway,
it's I don't know. I have nothing but good things to say about Darren as far as his in-ring work and his character work.
His social media work
is really good.
Yeah.
We probably differ on business philosophies and such, but probably not even that much. It's just the talent literally just spills out of him, and it makes everything better.
He's the equivalent.
Makes everything better.
He's the equivalent of you get in the ring with him. He's going to get the best out of you. It doesn't matter if he's trying.
Dude, I was trying to make the point earlier, that slow burn thing that we did with Airwolf, starting from
Fortune Mania 1.
Well, it was No Love Lost 1 when he...
No Love Lost,
Yeah, No Love Lost. Yeah. So he won the title from Corbin in that Fatal 4-Way. And then the blow-off match was 1 year later exactly.
Yes.
Dude, I had to kick and scream so hard. And that's probably why Dave doesn't like me right now. It's because, like, I begged Dave to do, to let them do the return match.
Yeah.
It's just, the story was so perfect. It was so good.
And they both sold it, by the way.
They did.
Both
they
of
did.
them. Both
they played it. They played it off like it was their. And Airwolf, when he did this, like, you know how I did like the trailers for those shows and like the video previews and such. Airwolf would reach out to me and tell me, like, dude, this makes it feel so much bigger. And then Airwolf would be like, he would go and find like legit places like with a curtain and lighting, and he would produce his own promos.
Oh, you could tell you could tell nobody was writing for him.
No one does write for anyone really.
Well, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Airwolf was as much himself as he could have been at that time.
I'm so proud of that. Just because I think.
As you should be, because the payoff match was.
Oh, dude.
Grind.
Oh God, yes, it was
absolutely.
awesome.
But do you know how heartbroken I am that show No Love Lost 2 never made it to DVD or made it to like YouTube or anything?
Right.
That we only got like, and the reason for that is because when we recorded it, and this is my fault. I left someone in charge of monitoring the sound who was at the same time recording the show, like videotaping it, and he had no real way of knowing what our sound levels looked like, and it's just the audio from the video is it's ruined. So unfortunately we never got to release that match, but yeah, I guess going back to the very first thing we even brought up, that show, that No Love Lost 2, from the production of it, from the look of the
I told
venue.
you, man, you beat a Ring of Honor show that not only made it to DVD, but was called Masters of the Craft. That was the name of the show, and you guys beat that, in my opinion. I still have the DVD of that.
Did you guys watch the Black Sunday full show?
Oh, yeah.
When it was up?
Oh, yeah.
Dude, that one too, like with the light blue and like the pink lights on like the Clyde symbol, and it was I don't know. I'm definitely getting off topic here.
No.
I love
95% of this show is bullshit. We say that every show, basically.
Oh yeah.
We love it though.
I love like Darren obviously loves producing content, and you can tell like he genuinely has like a deep rooted fiery passion for it.
Yeah.
And my passion is to produce that, like.
Well, but again. And again,
and not to say like they produce their own shit, obviously. But like,
and again, I am myself. I am who I am. If two people that I view as my friends, and I view both of you as friends,
of course,
you and Darren, if they differ on each other, I always stand firm in, just because you two have a problem doesn't mean one of you is going to turn me against the other. That's just who I am as a person. That's ingrained in me.
Sure.
I would say,
and I know I'm being kind of ambiguous
no.
But like. I do want to say that there are a lot of people who I used to have really amazing relationships with.
Yeah.
people that I would, give engagement gifts to.
And
I would, and then, but at the same time, I have really fucked up as far as maintaining those relationships, and I fully admit that.
Right.
But here's the thing. I've never killed anybody's dog or fucked their girlfriend.
Right.
I have never... My biggest offense, I believe, is that I have been wildly disrespectful in situations where I felt like I was right or I was justified. And
and it's like, to be fair, one thing about this show is we bring real people on.
For sure.
We bring like people need to understand. Eric walked in and we handed him a bullet point sheet. There's no like we have not written something for him to read off of at all. No. This is as shoot as it gets.
Yep.
And Eric, the one thing that I'll say to you is, I obviously have my position on things, but not necessarily from a business perspective, but just in my personal life. There are people that, my God, you thought nothing would ever break us up. And I would say for many years, I didn't blame myself at all.
Sure.
But then when you grow up, you kind of sit back and realize, look, what I did may not be on the same level as egregious as those people, but it's not about the level of egregiousness. It's about acknowledging what you did wrong.
The principle behind it.
And the fact that at the end of the day, everybody fucked up. Everybody had some issue. Well,
perhaps I'm not sure. That's the thing, is like I completely own, like, I'm definitely not going to get into specifics.
No.
I mean, the people who know obviously, but like, I've let my passion for this shit get in front of me a lot, and it's burned a lot of bridges. And I accept that completely, 100%. But at the same time, I've tried really, really hard to rebuild those bridges at times. There's, I've just a couple days ago, I messaged, a colleague of mine who was involved with DPW and now isn't.
Yeah.
And, I just approached him and asked him if there was anything that he wanted to discuss.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at with relationships in general, is that there's nothing about pro wrestling that defines me as a person. Fair enough. And like, who I am as a person, I believe, is going to define what I do in wrestling. The business is not going to define me. Fair enough. And I think that rubs some people the wrong way.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to. There are certain things that people want you to do, and things that people want you to say.
Yeah.
Want you to different ways that they want you to act, and so on and so forth. And I readily admit that, like, I've gotten super carried away with not being as cognizant of that as I could, but there's nothing about pro wrestling that's going to define me, and I don't want pro wrestling to define my relationships either.
No,
and I guess that's what I'm trying to say, is that we're all amazingly passionate about what we're doing.
Yeah.
And whether I'm considered, a pariah in this scene, or if I'm on my own island, I'm going to still show my love for the people not on my island.
Well, but that's the thing about especially our show. We've said a lot of things that I don't think anybody's ever going to give us a call back. You say you're one call away from the Bucks. If they listen to
the degree of separation is one person. I know a pretty good friend of theirs.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. But it's just again, I've always said, and this is kind of a hot take because a lot of people, I think, don't like his takes on things. I've always said, and I've never said this on the show, but I've said this off camera. I model myself when it comes to this side of what I do off of Colin Cowher. And here's why. And the guy... Well, here's why. People listen to his sports takes I listen to when he talks about his team. I listen to when he talks about the business.
Sure.
The guy has an opinion, whether you agree with it or not. He shows up at 4 or 5 in the morning. Mm-hmm. He does as much prep as he can for 3 hours. He fights for the. Christina Leahy was a good young person, but she went off and did her own show. He got Joy Taylor. She is phenomenal. She adds an element to his show that he didn't have with Christina Leahy.
Right.
My point is that Leroy and I are friends, but Leroy is a guy that, whether or not you think he talks a lot on the show, because our dynamic has kind of been when Leroy speaks, it's much more meaningful than even when I speak, and I don't mind, and I don't mind admitting that. I don't mind admitting that. That's fine. If I have to sort of, carry, the format of the show, I'm okay with that, and Leroy's okay with that. Mm-hmm. But like my whole thing about it is that I model myself after, I will say what I think.
Right.
If you have a difference of opinion, and as we've said, Leroy, how many times have we said it's a fan-based podcast? There's not a single person that if they message us directly won't be on the show.
Oh,
it might be a
single day.
It might be a scheduling issue.
Every time we do it. Yeah.
But there is no, you call this person, they'll call me. You will deal with me directly. You will deal with Leroy directly.
Right.
If the Bucks ever hear this, ever hear our shows,
I highly doubt they're gonna care.
No.
They might. We're talking about
them. No. That's my point.
Everyone talks about them though. They got off of Twitter because everyone was talking about them.
But here's my thing. I would love to sit down, whether it's a phone conversation, whether they're live in show.
Sure.
I would love to sit down with those guys, and I would just love to talk about their view on wrestling versus mine, which we're going to get to in a quick second here.
I understand the point. I think my problem in pro wrestling is that, how do I say this? I make shit personal almost without it even ever intending to be personal.
Okay.
And it's always like and that's my fault. That's my fault. Mm-hmm. I have a really bad way of I mean, I'm sorry to be swearing so much, but
it's all right.
I have a really bad way of fucking up good relationships, and it's been something that I've struggled with for years. But like I've said, the bridges that I burned, I tried really, really, really hard to honestly and earnestly repair them.
Yeah.
To the best of my ability,
mm-hmm.
and it just wasn't happening.
Well, you can only do as much as.
And so,
So
where it's at now is just like, I think separation is, and not isolation by any stretch, but until
time heals all wounds.
That is a thing. That is a thing for sure. And I'm trying to find the right way to say this.
If I can say this while you think about that, going back to my point about how so there was one particular person, I'm not going to name a name here, in my life that I truly, truly thought was going to be there till the end.
Sure.
And that is no longer a thing. I don't think it will ever be a thing. And I'll be honest, I don't think I ultimately, when I go to bed, care if it's ever a thing. However, we here at 13 Card Subject Exchange recently lost a friend of ours, Tanya, from the Pro Wrestling Lounge.
Yeah. She
passed away from, I believe it was a heart attack, I think it was.
It was so sudden.
Yeah, it was just so sudden. It hit us. And I'll be honest, for about a week, all I wanted to do was reconnect with this other person who I hadn't spoken to in years.
Yeah.
And all my friends said, hey, look, go for it, but don't expect anything of it, and yada, yada. And okay, to quote you, like with the Bucks, there is literally one person separating me from this person. That's it.
Yeah.
And the person in the middle is one of my closest, dearest friends.
Right.
But the thing about it is that time has healed a wound in me that I don't feel that relationship needs to be revisited because the same person doesn't feel that.
Yeah, exactly.
But
that's something that I have had to accept.
Yeah.
Is that I
and look, cheating death as many times as I have at only 28 years old, legit cheating death is one of those things where I think I speed up to things a lot quicker. My mind sometimes goes to the end result of something like this more than other people. Because again, I cheated death 2 times before I was 6 years old. In a 30-day span, I cheated death twice. So, but the thing about it is that for me, Whether or not that ever gets worked out,
I mean,
is kind of irrelevant. But
that's the thing.
But it's always going to hit you in the gut somewhere.
It's. I'm an extremely sentimental person.
Same.
And
100%.
I don't know if sensitive is the right word. I think I'm sensitive on some topics, but whenever I have a falling out with someone,
I think passionate is probably a better way to describe it.
Passionate.
Whenever I have a falling out with someone, I'm always like, man, I really hope we can fix this.
Yeah.
You know, and I think my attempts to do that might be seen as like disingenuous or facetious or ass kissing or something. But at the end of the day, dude, it's like if I've really hurt you and we have a decent history to that prior, I fucking genuinely care about you as a person. That's never going to change. If we have a difference in business philosophy, I still love you. Like I still very much care about your safety, your well-being, your happiness. But it's like if we can't have that relationship that we had beforehand,
try something.
Then I'm hurting our current.
Then
I'm making it fucking worse.
No, 100%.
So with that, I do want to say, like, for the people that are involved in DPW right now, I want to acknowledge Corey McCauley, Abby McMillan and Cal Anders, Russell Barnes, who's been really supportive, especially in the last few months. I think we had to cancel DPW 1 sometime in early May or late May.
That was about when you guys canceled.
No, something like that.
You guys, if I remember correctly, you held out longer than any sport.
Dude,
I know.
we were really.
You guys held out as long as you possibly.
We were literally waiting until they told us no, and that's probably irresponsible, but. Dude, we had the DPW plan was
I don't blame you. I don't blame Vince. I don't blame any promoter anywhere.
It's impossible.
Nobody knew what was going to happen. Nobody knew what was going on, and it kind of threw a monkey wrench.
I will say though, this kind of be a 13 cards exclusive scoop.
Okay. We love those.
We love those.
DPW 1 is scheduled for April 25th of 2021.
Okay.
So.
Okay, fantastic.
So that's Sunday, April 25th, 2021. I'm putting that out there, prefacing it with if we're still stuck in this shit, obviously it's going to have to be moved back.
But that is the tentative date.
Yeah, that's
marking that on my calendar. We will be there all day.
Oh, heck
yes.
And I want to point something out for anyone out there who is saying, okay, you guys have been ignoring the pay-per-view for like 5 minutes now.
Oh, should we?
No.
It's all right.
No. Okay. I will say this, and honestly, Leroy, I think we're gonna hold off on that till next time. I think there's a
that'd be really cool. I'll come back next time.
But it's just if I can sort of wrap things up here quick in my own way, Leroy.
Yeah, we can. We'll go over
Payback,
NXT,
Sasha, all that kind of stuff,
and we can do the NXT, Super Tuesday
full
1 and 2, and get it. Yeah, that'll be great.
I personally also really, really, really want to talk about Roman Reigns' heel turn because
we are more than happy to have you.
Oh God, that's
the most exciting thing.
So if I can
by the way. Thank you for letting me get a lot of this shit off my chest.
Oh, by all means. I want to point something out. And
this was not intended to be like a shoot interview by any stretch.
Yeah, there's no issue.
I know we got onto like some personal topics and some touchy shit.
It's perfectly fine. But Leroy and I have always said from day one, part of this show is the undertone is what we love, wrestling.
Right.
Wrestling is wrestling, unlike baseball, unlike basketball, unlike football, unlike even hockey for me, because I'm a Minnesota-born red boy. I love my hockey.
I do too.
Here's the deal. This sport, as we've talked about on the show, whether we've touched on Black Lives Matter, we've touched on black wrestlers, we've touched on female wrestlers, all this other stuff, this business is always going to be more than just the sport that we talk about. There's exclusives, there's shoots, there's kayfabe, there's everything about it. Kayfabe, whatever. Anyway, my whole thing about this is that Leroy, I don't know about you, but this has been one of my favorite shows.
Oh yeah, this has been an awesome show. I love it. I mean,
we've had fun ripping the actual on-screen content, but nothing puts more love in my heart to do a show when we touch on a topic where wrestling can sort of either cause your problems, but at the same time be something that you find some solace in.
Your solution.
Yeah. So
I
mean,
it's like that. For me, it's like that line at the end of the first Spider-Man. It is a gift.
Yeah.
But motherfucker, is it a curse at the same time?
Damn straight. So anyway, we got that going. I think it.
Thank you guys again.
I also think that was an awesome introduction to another, we'll say, character that'll be on the show. But anyway, yeah. Hey, dude, look. Thank you so much,
dude.
It was truly.
Yeah, this was long overdue.
And I'll say it. It was an honor to sit here with you because you are man. You know, your knowledge we'll go deeper into later in the shows. But
I appreciate that.
It is like everybody out there too is like, this is part 1. We're gonna have a part 2 for this.
Oh heck yeah!
Definitely,
it's gonna be great.
We really should.
I'll
try to come back next Sunday because this was.
Oh
this
yeah,
is really cool.
We do it every Sunday unless for some reason I'm not here in my home because it's in my house.
That's it. So
just to have the opportunity to like talk about some of those touchier things, like obviously some of the people that I talked about are probably going to listen and hear this stuff, and I just
if it happens, it happens.
At the same time too, it's like I don't as much as I believe separation and isolation from a negative relationship, if that's what it's going to be, is the best thing for it. I do want.
You're a glutton for the punishment of fixing your own.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
I am that way through and through.
But at the same time, like wholly, like 100% in whole.
Yep.
I want the people that I have worked with and the people that I have done business with to know how much I really do care about them.
Yeah, no, that's perfectly fine. A couple of generic sad shit we have to do at the end here. I apologize. We have to go from that moment to some stuff. Please subscribe to us on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes. We are also on Podomatic.com. And please check out our brand new series on YouTube called The Allison Chronicles. My lovely girlfriend. We finally get to see what she's like during the show. It is a trip. I got 9 more chapters to put up.
I've seen the first.
This past SmackDown.
I've seen the first few. Oh my god!
The final chapter.
It is great.
Shout out Leroy too for being the goddamn MC of this.
Oh,
you know how many people don't realize how much crap I do.
Yeah, dude. I walk into Leroy's kitchen. This boy has
4 mics,
bro. This is legit one of the better podcast setups that I have ever seen.
And it was all for only $200 on Amazon.
It's extreme, guys.
No, a little bit more than that.
Yeah, a little more than that.
But this guy's probably got leagues of knowledge, and he's just sitting there cool as a cucumber because he's monitoring.
I've said this before. There's nobody else I would rather do something like this with than Leroy. Yeah. We go back and forth, but that's just because Leroy and I are bored, so we go back and forth.
I'm really excited to get you guys backstage at DPW shows and just let you guys.
We'll do our thing, man.
Create content. That's the thing, dude. Is like DPW is going to be all about putting people in situations where they can just make what they want.
We will be there.
This started with the love of our wrestling, going to love lost too. This is where it started.
This started with two idiots having a conversation, and I was like, "Yeah, I've always wanted to do a podcast." And Leroy's answer to that was, "Oh, tell me about it." No, Leroy's answer was, "Cool, I'll buy the equipment." I'm like, "Alrighty."
He goes, "Why has nobody ever done this? Because nobody's old and stubborn like me."
This all started because Leroy was too stubborn not to do it. That's literally the reason why we do that.
I want to thank my grandfather, who I named my youngest son after Eben.
Fantastic.
That's the reason.
So anyway, I actually think for even TV purposes, we have a lot of stuff that we're going to tease next time. I can't wait to do it. Eric, once again, thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you guys. Seriously, this was a lot of fun.
For Leroy and myself, and of course, obviously now Eric, who's now part of the family.
Feel free to discover us at discoverprowrestling.com.
I'm glad you got that in there.
Pimp that in there. Yes.
We'll mention that a few more times.
I'm not gonna make it my slogan, but discover us.
Discover us. There you go. Discovery Channel might have a problem with that. But anyway, thank you all so much for listening, and we will see you all next time on the show. Thank you very much.